We back. Ladies and gentlemen, my name is CJKyles, aka the High Value Nurse, checking in once again. Back with another live, and we just gonna get right into the show today. Um, I have the homie E Black pulling up on me right now, and I sent the link out to some more people. But E Black, I appreciate you being here, sir.
Man, what's going on, my guy?
Working, bruh. Getting it in, man. Just trying to work, get it in. What about you?
Man, same thing, man. You caught me on a Friday, and I was like, I want to take this power nap. I'm gonna get right up and get right.
Hey, man, I appreciate you being here. Listen, man, where do we start, man? You want to start? Let's start with LA. Let's start with LA. Have you heard about Los Angeles? I think what LAPD detective saying that visitors should not come out here and they cannot guarantee your safety. They are comparing LA to the purge right now with the smash and grabs and all the crimes that's going on out there. Have you heard about that?
Yeah, I actually heard about that. I heard about the recent break-in also of a gun store in LA,
Yeah.
where over I think 50 guns got taken.
It's
You
wild.
know,
It's wild. What do you so defund the police? How do you feel about that?
oh, defund the police. I have a mixed bag of reaction of that.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. All right. So where do you want to start? You want to start with LA?
Let's start
Let's
with
start.
let's start with LA. Let's start with defund the police because do you think this may have something to do with what's going on out there?
I really don't think so. I think in regards to what's going on out there is kind of like the micro macro economics type of situation where there's just a lot of poverty, underlying poverty issues that are going on. Brothers are just more reckless, and in fact they're probably more organized. You
Mm,
know, since uh, the shutdown, brothers have just gotten together. They had time to get together and figure out what they're gonna do, what's more profitable, you know, what's what's the play. The gangs are sitting there like, hey man, it's Christmas season. What we gonna do now? I don't think. I mean, for any police officer is doing their job, they're doing the job for a purpose. One of my friends, he just got out of the academy, right?
mm,
He understands the dangers. He's on kind of the side of where he doesn't want to do patrol necessarily, but he's trying to do patrol. He wants to do a cyber forensic. Where
okay,
you see on First 48 where they take the phone and they figure out how many times he's called during the last 2 weeks and they do the cell towers and all that. So
for sure.
so he doesn't necessarily want to do patrol, but he's trained to do patrol. So but he under like I said, it's just like anything else. Brothers want to take advantage of what they got going on. Or
Let me let me ask you though. Like we live in a time right now to where every single place is hiring all over the country, man.
oh
Like
man,
I know here it was unheard of getting a job at a gas station. Like you had to know somebody in Michigan
mm-hmm.
to get a job at a gas station. And on every gas station corner, I see now hiring, now hiring, now hiring. What is stopping the brothers from getting a job? Because I do agree with what you're saying with the poverty. When you have, and it's not, I'm sure it's not just brothers because it's more than black people in LA. So let me just get
Yeah,
that out the way. But when you do have people living in a state of poverty, you are going to have crime. Poverty creates crime no matter where you are across the diaspora. But what is stopping people from getting a job? Because people going to concerts, people going
man,
to football games, people going to stadiums. It's really no excuse at this point, I think.
man. Because let me. Can I also add in the fact that we got money injected into the economy?
Hmm.
They printed up some money, and then next thing you know, brothers got change now. So can we add that into the fact that desperation now is setting in for a lot of people that we probably got what $10,000 over the last year from the
Something like that.
government, depending
I
on who it is.
I didn't get no money from the government, but something like that though.
Yeah, but certain families, based on their economic standards, have gotten a lot of money, and now that money is running dry. The same
Hmm.
standard has to be maintained, and so To answer your question in regards to the hiring, I think also, COVID kind of flipped the switch on a lot of things. I think workers are now taking their time eh, applying for jobs. People are now finding the new normal of, hey, I can work security, cybersecurity from home. I think a lot of brothers are taking advantage. I think a lot of people with the degrees are taking advantage of the remote. I think people are, not only that, but I would love to see the birth rate.
Man, man.
There's like, can we talk about that? Like right now, can we talk about the population explosion?
Yeah,
That's
that's gonna
pop.
be interesting to see within the next few years how many births is gonna come from this. Um, but still, man, I don't know because like I work a lot with a lot of women, man, and I see more women out here. And I'm not trying to put this on the guys or anything like that, but I actually did a show about this the other day. I actually see a lot of women outworking the men
Hmm.
in my area. I don't know what it's like where you at. I don't know what it's like in other places, but I know in my area, a lot of the times I see a lot of men not working as much. And now we have this whole thing, this new wave of being house husbands. And then when you take that with the smash and grabs, like has this pandemic created a lazy breed of people, men in
I,
particular?
you know what? That is the excellent question. During the lockdown, a lot of people were. The theme was, if you haven't learned the language, something new, refresh your resume, you're lazy. I don't know if everybody got that message, man. I'll be
Mm,
honest with you. I don't think a lot of brothers had went back to school, took the online courses, and finished up their degree plan that they dropped out of. Let's be honest. Are student loans. This is another thing. Student loans is about to kick back in.
yeah, January.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, January, and it's just like when they talk about the purge, I used to talk about the purge for so long because I used to say this is going to turn into a time where you're going to either have or you don't.
Mm-mm.
You're going to have to pick a side. Which one do you have to be on? Like, what side do you want to be on? And I think this pandemic was just the genesis of that. It
Yeah.
almost seemed like a test run. Who's going to thrive and who's not going to thrive? Who's going to hustle and who's not going to hustle? And I just thought, man, if I had a child at this point in time and they was talking about college, if they weren't talking about math, science, technology, health, anything like that, it would be no point
Yeah.
in going to school. You need to learn a trade or something now. The game is getting serious. And you know what, E Black? I talked to my homie maybe it's about 4 or 5 months ago before. No, this probably was a year ago, cause more than a year ago, because this was before the pandemic. I was talking to my homie about going to get another trade. And I was
Yeah.
saying, you know what? It's always good to know how to do more than one thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I said, maybe we should try plumbing or electrician, just something else to have behind my back. Now I'm a CDL truck driver as well. I
Okay.
got out the game. I
Oh,
didn't
so
like
you
it.
like truck driving? That's
No,
about that.
I don't.
That.
That's why I became a nurse. But
Man,
it's
because I,
I
I
know.
I have an interview with a guy, Chris TV. He does hot shotting,
Mm,
and I was looking at, and I think that's one of the things that, if anything, right now, I would tell brothers right now to get into hot shotting, at least transportation. It doesn't have to be, we always talk about STEM, but if black people were to actually attack or be on the offensive on a field, I would say transportation.
me too. And it's felony friendly. It's
Bruh,
felony friendly.
man, they
Listen,
don't
these
care.
trucking companies, they don't care if you done murdered somebody. They don't care if you don't rob somebody, stole something. They want to get that freight where that freight needs to go. I've never seen the industry be so felony friendly. But check this out, E Black. This is why I'm starting to kind of get irritated with the excuses. Hospitals are starting to hire felons now. Hospitals. That's
Whew.
unheard of. Unheard of. My girl, her friend's man got into the hospital. He's a felon,
Mhm.
a gun felony at that. What? What?
So do you think immigration has to do with that, or do you think it's just laziness, or you
Well,
think
I
things
think
have
immigration
got?
is going to play a big part in a minute. I think it
Mm,
because that's what they're doing.
mm,
I know I see a lot of companies gearing up to give a lot of these Filipino nurses and nurses from Africa. They gearing up to get them their green cards, and they gonna outwork us, and they gonna do it for less money.
yes.
I think we should have been on top of this from the get go. It's no excuse not to have bread in 2022 now. Like
Yeah.
felons are getting opportunities like never before. And like I said, this is not a black thing. This is anything. And then like especially to like homeless people, like white homeless people, you
Yeah.
really have no excuse. Like really, really had no excuse. Hold on, let me bring my friend up. What's up, Japrice?
Hey.
Hi, good evening.
What's going
Hello.
on?
Oh, I finally get a little background.
Right, right, right. You all
Jabrice,
right,
so
Japrice? What's going on?
Jabrice looking at
Yeah,
me.
I was like, wait, what?
Yeah, what's going on?
Nothing.
We talking about LA right now, becoming a purge. And I know you had said something, you had commented on my page about defund the police. This is what happens when you defund the police and everything like that. So can we get your take on that?
Yeah, so I live in, okay, so just to explain it to you guys, maybe you guys know or not. Like Los Angeles is like a huge county. So think of it as a mall, and inside the mall you have different stores, and those are different cities within LA. So I'm not in like South Central or anything. I'm actually in like the suburbs area, but of course I grew up in LA and like lived all over LA, so I'm still LA County. Um, so yeah, it's been like a lot that's been going on out here. Like honestly, I've been seeing so many videos, hearing so many stories from family members, watching our local news and stuff. So that's what happens. Um, I believe like the aftermath, like defunding the police, and it's all this stuff that's going on, including COVID and all this stuff. Um, it's causing all of these like robberies, major robberies. Um, there's a swap meet that I went to maybe 2 weeks ago, um, to get some jury fixed, and um, a couple of days after that, it got robbed. So they had on like
Jesus.
face masks, but the face mask that everybody's required to wear. So that made it easy for them to do that, and they still haven't been found. I think it was about like 5 guys in there. So luckily, I wasn't there because it was just so it was just so like kind of creepy and kind of scary how I was just there. So that was in Compton, I think. Yeah, I think the city of Compton. I still consider it Compton. But yeah, so that's what happens when I get to defund the police. There's not many officers. My husband's not here at the moment, so it's just me and I'm going crazy.
It's
Um,
all good.
so yeah, it's not many. I don't see a lot of like police patrolling areas anymore. I really don't, and they're also like scared too. They're also afraid, because stuff that's happening between, stuff that's happening between, the citizens and the police officers. They don't want to be, they don't want a situation to where they are like, battling if this person is racist and stuff like that. And yeah.
Mm. So me and E Black was saying like we were talking about poverty
Mm-hmm.
being a factor, and then I was saying that in 2021, at this point in time in history, it has never been easier to get a job.
Yeah.
They are hiring felons. E Black mentioned transportation, working within logistics, and CDL companies hire felons all the time. All the time. The hospitals are now starting to hire felons. So let me ask you, Japri, since you just kind of pulled up after what we were saying. Has the pandemic made people lazy? Because people going to stadiums, concerts, rap shows, Astro World, all kind of stuff. Super Bowl, has it made people lazy, or is there still a fear out there?
I think that the excuse is the fear, but it is complacentness, is that if that's a word, the people are like complacent, and there's still like free money and stuff being handed out. I'm quite sure there's still money that they still have some money left over from maybe like there's some I don't know if you guys know, but there's supposed to be some type of like stimulus check going on, another one coming or something like that. I heard a lot of some family members have gotten another stimulus check. I don't know if that's back there. I don't
Really?
know what it is, but um yeah, there's still programs to where they can like pay your rent. It's a bunch of stuff still going on. So it's nobody's in a rush to go back to work. Like the 99 cent, our local 99 cent store here in my area is is hiring. They're like desperate need. Like they're asking people in the line, you guys, anybody need a job? I was like, oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Everybody's hiring. I mean, everybody's like in need of like help and like and then like even not necessarily really in our area, but maybe in like the other cities over, like the well, how do you call it? Like, it's crowded because it's only like they're short staffed. Um, so I believe that it's laziness, but of course the excuse is going to be like, they're scared. Oh, there's still COVID out there, but you're going to concerts and you're going to all these other stuff. So
Yeah.
E Black, do you think all these government set asides and these agencies that put all these plans into place with the PPP loans, do you think that has backfired in a way?
Man, one way I would say I got to be honest with you. I have a real life experience with this because one of my best friends he actually lost his job. He's a single father,
Okay.
and his job disappeared. He worked as a bartender. I would say I would call it the do all of a hotel, bottom floor hotel, right? One of them Holiday Inn hotels, he was a bartender. He handled it, the concierge area. He once COVID hit, that was it for his job because there was no customers, there's no travel. They fired him, or I didn't say they fired him. The company, the hotel sold itself to another guy, and that guy ended up firing him. So he had to sit there with children, rent to pay. So he took his time because he understood that, hey, he needed to be able to make sure that he was able to afford rent and for daycare because daycare was taxing him.
Mm.
Now he stayed home. He's staying home with his kids. And I know it sounds crazy and I'm saying he, but this is a guy.
Yeah. Yeah.
So this is a man who was a single father, no help at all. He laid off from his job. He saw the benefits of it. Staying home, not taking uh waiting until his kids got into a what's that age? Kindergarten or at least pre-K. So he saw the benefits. He was like, "Why should I go back to work when if I was to go back to work, then I'd have to pay for gas. Then I'd also have to pay for daycare. Going to work is actually me paying more."
Mm.
So it's we're in, like I said, a lot of people were caught in this little donut in which you're damned if you do, or you're damned if you don't. And these are real life people. I don't, the working class is a real thing. There
Right.
are people who are literally cashing their $1,000 check and paying $1,000 in bills and waiting for 2 weeks to come around and doing repeat and rinse and repeat. So there is a working class. I think the working class is probably getting hit the hardest because goods are being more expensive.
Yeah.
Also, also you're looking at everybody has gone up. COVID restrictions have gone up. Police, in fact, the way I feel about it, police are more advantageous to give you tickets because the county and the states are now lost. They've taken a loss.
Yeah.
They don't have the sales tax no more. Everybody went online. So I think we're in this weird space. I think they're going to create a documentary or a study about this time, and we're going to actually see what has actually happening on the ground because it's there's a lot of narrative that I hear, but I would love to see the actual data because there are still people paying their taxes. I paid my house taxes. You know, I'm still paying my rent, or not my rent, my mortgage. I'm still paying. I'm still paying my mortgage. I'm just wondering how other people are who are less fortunate, and I'm wondering how people are. I'm wondering what other people are doing is dealing with to survive. Because, like I said, I have like a friend. Man, I love my guy. That's my guy.
Right.
But like I said, I understand that he had to make a choice, and from his standpoint, he's like, why would I go to work just to pay, basically play them? You know,
Right.
you
That's
know.
real. That's real talk. And like I said, this is where the internal fight with myself comes in at, because I understand there are there is a sector of people that really do legit need the help. People like your friend who's a single father doing it on his own, taking care of his children and everything like that. But man, there I just know so many people. We have seen so many celebrities go to jail for the PPP fraud scams, and people go to jail for the fraud. Like I got a, well, my cousin, her she had a homegirl that wanted me to get involved in the scam, and I'm just like, bruh, nah. And I probably could have pulled it off because I could have ran it as a legit business, especially like being a nurse at home, care and all that kind of stuff. But I'm like, nah, I'm chilling. I'm all right over here. I don't need to do nothing like that. I'm not in danger of losing anything. I actually thrived in the pandemic, so I'm just like,
Mm-hmm.
okay. And it's a horrible thing. It's a horrible thing, but man, I have to go with a lot of people just really still are choosing not to work at this point, man. Because, like I said, if you can be out and about at the game and at the concert with your homies and they hiring felons in this time, there's really no excuse. Let me ask you, Japrice, being in LA County, is it like that in the suburbs? Are they doing smash and grabs in the suburbs like that too?
Not that I know of. Sorry.
Oh,
Sorry. Not that
Uh,
I
you
know of.
okay?
are there more car break-ins? Because I know
Oh,
I'm from
yeah.
California.
There's there's been car break-ins. Yeah, there's been they've been it's some type of piece that they've been taken from people's cars. Hey, what is that piece? Cadillac converter?
Oh wow, they're
Okay.
Yeah,
taking
a
them up
lot
there.
of people in my neighborhood have been complaining about their Cadillac converters going missing in their car, like in their car. A lot of a lot.
Wow. Mm.
Yeah.
So, what
Because
do
I'm
you
from
think?
California, Japrice. I'm from California. I was raised in the Bay Area, so I understand. Like when I moved to Texas, I man, I don't have to lock my doors and all that stuff. Even when I go back home and visit, I might have my charger out. You're not gonna hide your charger.
Mm,
It's like it's a whole different animal. You have to be so apprehensive when you close the door. Then you gotta look back at the car and say, "Is anything visible? Does anything look good?" So I
mm.
totally get it.
Japrice, let me ask you because I did ask E Black. Do you think the middle class wealth gap is starting to close? Because I mentioned to E Black that I really think that it's going to come to a time of either you have it or you don't have it.
Mm.
There will be no middle ground. Either you will have it or you don't. There's no living in between, no middle class and anything like that. And that's why I told E Black, I said, if I had children at this point in the game, I would advise them, if you're going to go to college, you need to do something involving in law, medicine, technology, because all that other stuff is fluff at this point. I think the pandemic it's a lot of people with master's degrees and doctorates that was out of a job, that's out here on unemployment, that could be involved in one of them smash and grabs. You just never know. So what do you think about the wealth gap starting to close and that middle class starting to disappear? What do you think about that?
Mm, I don't think I know much about that because I don't know. I'm just not really into like I don't know. I haven't maybe did my research on that or heard. I mean, I do know difference between low class, middle class, and high
Hmm.
class. Um, Maybe it's because I'm not in the workforce that I'm not too much. But however, I we are middle class and our grocery bill has gone up. That's
Yes.
so
That's a fact.
our budget is like cutting tight, like with our groceries. So it's like we almost it's like we almost in a minute not gonna be able to afford it. It's so like eggs went up, everything went up. We just went out to eat today, and
Yeah.
oh my god, the bill! I was like, wait, what in the world? Wait, what is going on? A lot of places in LA here. I don't know if you guys are doing it there. They are doing some subcharges, 10% subcharge. Yeah, so it's a thing out here. Something to do with COVID. Like a lot of restaurants and stores are charging a subcharge. You
Wow.
ask them what it's for, they say it's for the worker, it's for the workers, it's for the employees, and something to do with COVID and the employees. And we're like, wait, what?
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy. Well,
Sounds like a kitchen charge.
dude, and I had to pay. I paid $15 for a bag of wingdings. For a bag of wingdings at Walmart, $15, bruh. For a bag of wingdings, I might as well have gone to the homegrown or whatever they call it, the organic, the farmers market. That's farming market prices, but it's getting real crazy out here. All right, let's transition to to Juicy. So are y'all familiar with Juicy and what's going on with him?
Oh, juice. I get it.
With Juicy Smollett?
Tupac Shakur, the gay Tupac Shakur.
Yeah, yeah.
Man, this is.
Japri, you familiar with we talking about, Japrice?
Well, okay, I do know of him. I do know the story from like maybe a couple years ago that he correct me if I'm wrong, he lied and said that someone attacked him because of his sexuality and and the color of his skin, right? Or his race.
Yeah, pretty
Okay.
much. Yeah, he filed a false hate crime report and saying they attacked him because he was gay and he was black. Originally, it was supposed to be two white dudes wearing MAGA hats. Then it turned out to be some African trainers, and it turns out that they was all in it together, and they had a noose. And shout out to the lead attorney. He said this was the worst looking noose that he's ever seen in his life. When I went back and looked at it, and it looked like a jump rope from Walmart. And recently they found Juicy guilty. Yeah, Juicy was found guilty on, let me see, they found him guilty on 6 felony counts of disorderly conduct for making a false report to the Chicago police that he was the victim of a hate crime. And that happened in 2019, an attack that he staged. They said it was a jury of 6 men and 6 women deliberated for more than 9 hours on Wednesday and Thursday. Smollett, aka Juicy, dressed in a suit and tie, and appeared rigid after the verdict was read in court. Late in the afternoon, he did not move and was seen gazing straight ahead. His fingers were interlaced and his hands were on the table. He didn't look at his family or the judge. Instead, he was focusing on the direction of the jury. A disorderly conduct charge for a false crime report is a class 4 felony, punishable up to 3 years in prison and a $25,000 fine. Cook County Judge James Lynn will have discretion in imposing a concurrent or consecutive sentence for each count at a later date. Juicy, juicy, juicy. E Black, when you first heard this absurd crime, what did you think of it? What did you think of it?
You know, I was literally. I remember the moment I heard this. Right. Uh, I remember the moment I heard this. I remember I was on the computer and I clicked on the link and it said actor of Empire attacked in Chicago. I was like, oh wow, what the hell happened? So I'm listening to the story, and then I was like, they was like, oh well, he's out at 3 o'clock in the morning at Subway getting the meal, and he's attacked. So I'm like, wait, you're in Chicago, the city of hot dogs, the city of pizzas. So I'm like, maybe he's on a meal plan. Maybe, I was in my fitness bag a little bit. So
Mind you,
then,
it's freezing. It was free. I think they said it was like 9 below or something like that.
bro, that's what I was getting to the next part. So they was like, okay. But then I was thinking, I was like, well, Chicago. Wait, Chicago? Who goes out in the middle of Chicago at that time of the night? like, like,
In
it was,
January.
to me, my senses went tingly. So I started talking to a friend, one of my online friends, and he's a white guy, and he was not biting, and he was like, that doesn't make sense. So we're breaking it down, and I mean, I was like, I'm gonna hold back on this one. I'm gonna hold my Negro rage
Uh
back.
huh. Yep. Yep.
Because it didn't make sense, because the way that he was describing it as two white men. I'm like, first of all, okay, white people in Chicago attacking, ropes, MAGA hats. I'm in Texas. I can understand it. I can make that. I can say that. That'll be more realistic. But you're in the metropolitan area at 3 o'clock in the subway, like,
Yeah.
I it. So as it came out, but then what really caught me was when he said the gay Tupac. I
Uh
was
huh.
like, oh, now you capping.
Yep.
Now you big capping.
Yeah, he was trying to be on some Malcolm X, the gay Malcolm X tip. And for the people who may not remember, let me just hold on. Let me just try to refresh their memory real quick for one
Oh,
second.
please don't. Please.
Um, let me just try to refresh them real quick. Real, cause dude was serious, and Juicy felt like he had a real gripe in the game. You dig? So let me just play this for the people who may not have seen it. Cause he was real serious. So if people can mute their mics, I'm gonna mute mine. I'm gonna let Juicy talk for a second. Hold on one second.
There's a level of pride there. We live in a society where, as a gay man, you are considered somehow to be weak. And I'm not weak. I am not weak. And we are, as a people, are not weak. So during that time before they came, it took them about maybe half hour to come. And during that time, I was looking at myself, just like checking myself out. I saw the bruise on my neck, like the little, the rope burn around my neck. And then but I smelled bleach. I know the smell of bleach. And I saw on my sweatshirt, it had marks on it, like spots on it when you have a bad bleach job. So then I was like, there's bleach on me too. So when the police came,
Bleach. E Black. He said bleach.
No,
I
he
for,
said a bad bleach job.
This was a bad look. This was a horrible look. Bleach. E Black. First of all, I knew this was fake when I saw the two African guys. Black folks don't waste bleach, let alone at 3 a.m. in the morning, but at below 9 weather in Chicago. It's a million other things black folks can think of to do with bleach besides pour it on Jussie Smollett because he's gay. Like, come on. This
like
was
I
an
s
L.
yeah, this was a huge L. Like I said, the story was it sounded like Empire.
It did.
It
But do
sounded
you
like an Empire episode. Like, I'm just sitting there like, okay.
but do you remember how all the LBGT people and all the LBGT organizations was rallying behind him? It was all about a LBGT hate crime. Now they are quiet as church mice. And I mean quiet as church mice. So let me ask you, E Black, should Juicy go to jail? Should he go to jail?
This is one of those victimless crimes. In the grand scope of the things, it's a victimless crime. The problem is where he gets into trouble where he is going to be civilly liable to the state for the investigation. It's tough, you know. It's tough. Do I think he probably should do 30 days? Probably. But realistically, I don't think he will. Like I said, if there was a victim in this situation, I could probably see, you know, maybe maybe if he was going with a friend and they both got fake beat up, then you know I could see it. But like I said, with this, I think this is more or less moves into the civil matters. So I don't know if civilly you can send somebody to jail for this. Does he deserve to sit down for a little bit? Yeah, but I don't think
I,
in the I don't
I,
think with his I don't think with his backing because remember this the only reason why this was brought up because it got brought up again.
right,
You know, it got buried at first.
right. Caprice, from what you've heard, and now knowing that he is guilty, and this was all a big plan, the people that co-conspired with him, they testified against him in court and said it was a plan from the beginning. Should Juicy go to jail?
Um. So first, I just want to say, with I'm quite sure he has, some, money in the bank, and I'm not gonna say he's like an A-list celeb. Would he be considered an A-list celebrity?
Not by a long shot.
Okay. You couldn't get no gourmet sandwich. So Subway was just the only just Subway. Subway was just it at 3 a.m. Cold
Oop,
sandwich, cold
oop,
cut.
and you
Cold
walking.
cut at 3 a.m. Then also, I don't know if any of you guys remember. Well, I'm sure you guys do, but do you remember everybody was posting about, like, all the celebrities were like, "Oh my god, I feel so hurt." Like, it's like I just remember I follow. I think it was Kelly Rowland or somebody, and they posted about him, and I was like, "Wait, what?" And then people were so upset that the Black community wasn't really in an uproar because we were all like, "Wait, what? Wait, that doesn't sound
Because
right." But
we knew it was some BS.
so I don't. If there was a victim that he actually lied on, and that person was actually, like, a suspect, and they end up finding out that he was lying, then I do believe that he should get a little time. But since there's nobody actually, got hurt or embarrassed but him, um, I don't believe that jail. I believe that he can. I don't know. Did he apologize?
No,
He
not
did.
yet. He has. I don't think he's
Okay.
made any official statement as of now. So
Okay. So yeah, I don't think maybe jail time, but I know I was hearing some people comparing that situation to, like, when what they quote unquote call, like, Karens or whatever. I say that the situation is different only because the Karens are actually lying on people and actually possibly getting that person in trouble, versus um Juicy, whatever you guys call him, Juicy or something like that. He his whole little story, they all were playing a part in it, allegedly. I mean, not allegedly, actually proven now. So I don't believe that he should get jail. I think he's already embarrassed by now, right? So
I'm gonna be honest. I don't think he should get jail either. I don't think he should get jail either. Do I think he should be punished? Absolutely, sure. Punish him. Jail? No. I think that's a little extensive because if you're gonna start locking people up for false reports, you need to start locking these Karens and these Kens up first. They've been doing false reports way longer than Juicy have been doing it. So if you are going to start locking people up, if you're going to lock Juicy up, fine. That's fine. But lock the Karens and the Kens up too that do it.
Yeah, I just think that when this got to the federal level.
Mm-hmm.
This absorbed a lot of Chicago's
Resources.
resources too.
Yeah.
So I think that's where I say, you know what, you probably do need to get probably 30 days with suspended 15. Like this was like the amount of resources that it took from the mayors to the chief of police to the FBI. It it warrants, to me, in my opinion, it warrants 15 days at least.
Mm, at
30-day
least.
sentence, 15 days served. Like
Do you think he might like it?
no, I'll be honest with you. No man likes prison, so I'm not gonna sit here and
I
expound.
don't know, E Black. Some people go back and back and back again, man. You don't gotta work. You got a place to stay. They say that good prison soap is the best soap, from what I hear. That good antibacterial soap. I mean, you get 3 meals a day. You get exercise. I mean, for some people, what more could you ask for? I mean, some dudes just keep going and going and going. I got an Uncle Black. Love jail. Love jail. He said, I ain't got no worries in jail. I ain't got to pay no bills. Nothing. I don't know, E Black. I think some dudes may enjoy jail.
Okay, I'll give you that. Some guys enjoy the structure and the
Yeah.
institution of jail, but this guy, most guys who've never been to jail, let's just say that, will do not enjoy prison.
Yeah. And it's crazy too when you think about it, not to steer off, but when some people do a long stretch in jail and they get out, they don't know how to get accustomed to normal life.
Man, but I will say this: I had a cousin who did 17. Right, he came back strong, man. He did come back strong. He came back, ended up getting hired as a roofer, and I remember I was sending him some money, and I was worried about him because I was like, hey man, when you get back, man, don't try to be Superman. Don't try to don't try to go out here and try to be the all and be all of everything. Take your time. We understand it's gonna take some time. You got to fix some things up. And he came back with a purpose. So I will say that some people I think because he understood what happened and why he got to jail is probably different from the people who feel like the system put him in the jail.
Right.
The
Yeah.
people who make excuses probably don't really fully rehabilitate themselves because they're feeling that while they're in there they're not able to really truly get resolve their own personal issues. Whereas somebody who knows why they're in there and understands what they're missing may come out a little bit different. Everybody's different. I do know some jailbirds though.
Yeah. Gre- Greg Wallen in the chat. He say, nah,
Do you
Juicy
guys
need to.
feel? Can I ask a question, please? Do
Yeah,
you
go
guys
ahead.
feel like you guys just feel like he just made that up like out of the blue? Like, do you think that it was something behind it, or maybe somebody could have possibly like what was an actual reason? Like, if he did make it up, why do you think
Behind
he
him,
made it up? You
You.
said you said what, E Black?
behind him.
Did I say something? Did I say something?
No, no, you had said behind him, and it was a joke.
Oh, I don't get it. But like, I believe this was.
You said you believe it was what?
I believe that wasn't this around the time like with the whole like the politics and everything was happening, right?
Yeah, and me personally, I think it was more so Empire was about to get canceled. Um, and he just wasn't that hot. I mean, Empire had a cool little first couple seasons where it was the hottest thing on earth that fizzled out very quickly. Um,
Once they
so he
start
just
doing that gay agenda, that's what happened.
and it was just too much. And I think that he thought that, well, you know what? Let me get some clout. I could be a gay superhero, and to all the people in the gay community, especially to the gay blacks. And I think it backfired. I really think it was for clout and and that's just as simple as that. I think he knew he probably wasn't gonna get hired on anything else, or maybe he felt like he was typecast or whatever the case may be. But that's all I think it was for, clout, just to get some stock behind his name. But what do you think, E Black?
Yeah, man. When you look at this situation, he was primed pause, but he was really in his position to where he was primed to like be the leader of the new generational modern man of metrosexuality. You know, he was on one of the top shows. He was openly gay in his role. It was not only openly gay, but on a black show. It was not only open gay on a black show, but on a hip hop show. Yeah. So he had a lot of things going for him that he may have felt that he needed the extra boost. And I forgot, you know, yeah, at that time, I remember Empire was going on that struggle to where it was, I can remember the backlash that they were feeling that the gay role, they were focusing too much on his role. He was carrying the show, but they were carrying the show a little too much. And I remember that the fizzle was starting to go out on that show, and at this time, so I think he kind of got seduced by the fame and like I said, this was also election season starts gearing back up. Mm-hmm. So you know, a lot of things, like I said, you never know what man, this little box here, people change, man.
Absolutely. Japrice, did you watch the show?
I've watched Empire. I think when it first came out, like 2016. Then when I saw, like, you know, the gay role, it was a little bit much, and then I got kind of turned off, and then I just like stayed away from the show. It just sometimes it just hits you, like, even if it's not even like a gay scene, just the like sexual, just boom right there in your face, boom, soft porn. You know, it's just, I was just like, wait, what's going on? And then I kind of like stood away from it. So in the beginning,
I was never really a fan of it. I mean, I watched the first season to see what the hype was all about, but after that, I kind of waned off. I mean, the music was straight. Some of the songs were good, but I just could never really get into Empire. It was almost too much drama. Like, I'm like, I mean, I'm sure this stuff happens in real life, but I'm just like, okay, it was just too much. You know what I'm saying? I feel like a lot of the angles had no rhyme and no reason. They just wanted to do it just to do it, but
it was like everybody in that show was, I'm sorry not to cut you off.
No, go ahead.
It's like everybody in the show was just so drama filled and angry and mad at each other. It was just like, it was just like so much. And it was like, I did not like Taraji P. Henson's character. It was just a lot. And it was just like, it was just a whole lot of drama. And again, it was like a bad kind of look on like Black people, even, and like it was just too much. It was just too much. It really was.
I did like Terrence Howard's role. I liked his role. I liked that he was a father, that he took care of his children, and he was the leader of, like, they did make him the lead role. Essentially, he was the father of the single father while Cookie was in jail. So he was the father of 3 young men that essentially he rose to his company. So I got that part. The part where I just kind of got turned left was just, like I said, they just kind of, it's like they had so much going around, they just had to put the gay role in there. It's just like, and they know that hip hop and gay don't mix.
What do now? Lil Nas X.
They make, is that hip hop or is that pop? Because I put that more in the pop. I put that more in like the pop area, you know.
I do too, and that's it's kind of an interesting segue, because I think now more than ever, it's more profitable, and that's why I see like this whole. I mean, I get it, you know, you can't tell people when to come out the closet, but right now, it's profitable to be gay. It's profitable, like you get all kind of perks if you come out. You know what I'm saying? You almost untouchable to a point. And that's why I never understood, like, first of all, I don't believe in the whole down low narrative. I think that's just something that was made up. because that to put a bad light on black men to begin with. But I don't believe in that. Some people tell they gay, some people don't. It's not a whole down low thing. In particular, to black men, you have people who just don't share stuff. But anyway,
Yeah. That's an interesting thing because World's AIDS Day was December 1st, right?
uh huh.
And I found out an interesting statistic that really kind of took me for a loop. I think it was 84% of new HIV/AIDS cases were from heterosexual women,
Wow.
while I think 64% were from gay men.
Hmm.
So it's now it kind of like me. It's like that down low thing. I'm like kind of like either it's bisexual men or down low men or gay men either having sex with a lot of heterosexual women. It has to be one of these three things because you get what I'm saying. There's a lot of gay men having AIDS catching it because heterosexual men don't necessarily catch it as much,
Right.
but the heterosexual women are catching it. It's like, where's the balance? We got to figure out. The statistics are staring you right in the face. It's not like a whole bunch of gay women or black women are catching it.
Hmm.
It's literally heterosexual women. So that's a tough thing. Like I said, maybe you feel it's a narrative. I don't know. I'm like kind of contorted at it because, like I said, I looked at the stats and I was like,
But are these black women only sleeping with black men?
mm, that's a good question.
I mean, like, cause I just, no, I mean, I think that's an argument you can pull in there. Now all these sisters are sleeping with black men. Matter of fact, it was a guy, some white guy. He used to dress in like hip hop clothes and everything like that, and all he would do was go around banging sisters. I wish I could think of this dude's name, and he had AIDS. Japrice, you know who I'm talking about? Like
Yeah,
he was all over Facebook.
I don't know his name. It was a Caucasian guy, right? He was like,
Yeah.
it's like the club, like Freaknik Club or something like that, right?
Let me see. I'm gonna see if I can pull it up. But yeah, he would go around and he would mess with all black women, and he would give them HIV, which would turn into AIDS. Hold on. But yeah, so I don't know. It could be a number of things, but I won't ride with that narrative. There are people who just don't share things, and it's placed that whole. Where did that narrative even come from? I think it's what was Stella got her groove back or something like that. That whole era where, and I think the Tay Diggs character came out as gay or something crazy like that. I don't know, but it's a wild
Wait.
scenario.
Sally got a groove back. No, no, no. I think you're thinking the wrong one. I know you. I know.
I think it's for
Stella got a
Colored
groove back was a
Girls,
Jamaican.
Tyler Perry movie
Yeah, but
where Janet Jackson was the wife and her husband was sleeping on the he was on a down low with another man and she ended up catching HIV from him.
Yeah, but how Stella got her groove back, that's a true story though. And Tay Diggs' character really is gay in real life. The
He is
man
Tay
that he
Diggs.
played.
Oh,
No, not Tay Diggs, but the man he played is gay
Wait.
in real life.
Really?
So, and I think that and I think if I may be wrong, but I think she went on Oprah and she was talking about that. And yeah, she went on Oprah. She was talking about that, and that's how this whole download thing started. I think I could be wrong. A lot of that, I was real young when a lot of that stuff happened, but just looking back,
Because Tay Diggs was a Jamaican guy. He played the Jamaican guy that she
oh,
went on.
somebody said Waiting to Exhale, Loretta Devine's husband. Waiting to Exhale. I've never seen that movie, but
You never seen The Way to Excel?
no.
Don't see it. Don't see it. We don't want to. We don't want
Maybe
to.
look
We
at
don't want to poison our more sisters.
what year was it out?
It doesn't matter. You don't.
uh,
It's a movie you don't need to see. You'll
oh
be
wait,
burning
next.
I haven't
She'll,
seen a lot of
she'll be burning.
movies that a lot of like people in our community. They be like, "You haven't seen?" I'm like, No, my parents probably said I
You'll
couldn't.
be
Like I've
burning.
never heard there was a Marcus Houston song that a lot of the kids in my school was listening to. It was like a real sexual song, and I didn't hear it until I was like maybe 19 or 18. I'm at one of my good friend's house, and she was playing. I was like, "Oh, this is my first time hearing the song, the Marcus Houston song." And Pretty Ricky also had a song out. It was called "Get You Wet" or something like that. And I didn't hear it until I was older. My
Wow.
was not letting me hear or watch any of that stuff.
Yeah, it's been
Well,
years
that's
since I
good.
seen Waiting to Exhale. You said don't do it, huh, E Black?
Nah, because she'll be burning that Mercedes. What was it? A BMW.
Yeah.
Don't.
Yeah.
We don't need to infect her mind. And then when she sees Leon's character,
It's oh yeah, I remember. Okay, yeah, it's been years since I seen Waiting to Exhale.
yeah,
I
it'll,
know my
it'll
girl liked that movie, but it's been years since I seen it. It's been years.
yeah.
But I guess we can get into fresh and fit.
Oh Lord,
Fresh and fit. Going
let's do
around out here in these YouTube streets snitching. I can't stand them. I cannot. And I love seeing brothers get their money, but them two dudes, I cannot stand them at all. E Black, how you feel about Fresh and Fit?
it. Being that I'm a content creator, and I can, I find my algorithm being a little bit different. I find like, I look at certain things, I figure out certain things. So when I caught on to them, I got it. It was a genius idea. The look was good. The location is great. But of course, there was something that, as a man, you realize that was a lot of cap going on.
Immediately.
So I'm gonna just leave it there. I just, like I said, I saw it. I knew what it was. It has its own special place, and I would say, I would honestly say under 25. It's good under 25 content. If you're over 25 and you're watching it with any type of learning,
I don't see how anybody with common sense. Now, I know they give credit advice and they talk about real estate and stuff like that. That's cool. I'm with all that. But when it comes to the simping and the tricking and kicking chicks out the studio and chicks pulling out guns on them in the studio and people breaking in, just a whole lot of foolery going on in that whole space, man. But what got me is when Fresh told had a video talking about how he smashed three girls in one day. Have you seen that video, E Black?
I would say probably indirectly, but it comes to mind. I've heard. Was it after an NBA player invited him?
Right,
Yeah.
right.
I've indirectly seen it, but
And even his own audience. See, I'm starting to think they just watch them for the foolery. It's like a train wreck at this point. I mean, I get it. They getting the subscribers, they getting money, and that's cool. But they own audience was calling cap during the video. Like, I'm surprised that video is still up because I think it got more dislikes than likes. But YouTube done took away the dislike button. You can't see nobody dislikes no more. That's crazy too, by the way. But anyway,
I want them to get rid of the view button.
the
The
what button?
views.
Really?
Yes. Just make it
Why?
pure content.
Really?
Hmm.
I don't know, man. I don't know about that one.
Come on, just make it rest on your content. You don't have to look at my likes. You don't have to look at my views. You just
So what about the subscribers? Get rid of the subscriber count.
yeah. I don't show my subscriber counts because, like I said, I don't want people focusing on the numbers.
Okay.
Just focus on the content.
Okay. I can respect that. But Myron had that whole thing in the summer with the chick that he allegedly got pregnant. He's been accused of all
That was
kind of
wild.
yeah,
That
he's been accused of all kind of things and Fresh, he's sitting up here with a chick he met on Seeking Arrangements, a sugar baby website, and he's
That should have got
constantly,
them canceled.
dude, and that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. And they was losing subscribers for a minute, but like the girl, they had like him and Fresh and the chick did a live together, and he goes to kiss the girl, and the girl goes, "Do I know you?" And I'm like, "Oh my god, really?" And people still like, I don't get it. I do not get it. And then these chicks they bring up are the dumbest women
Yeah.
on the planet who cannot debate worth nothing. And I'm having the hardest time understanding why
They
people
started
listen
off
to them.
really good. I'll be honest with you. They started off really good with like really. Remember when Kevin Samuels was debating a white feminist, the Silver Surfer woman?
Right, right.
That's where they started off as, and it kind of, I remember they had this one girl, she was from Egypt, and I remember there was like, they would at least have one, like somebody with some type of sense in there. Now it looks like they just go literally to the bar and say, "Hey, do y'all want to join us? And we'll buy you drinks afterwards." And it's
Yeah.
just like, I don't, I literally, well, for a while I stopped watching them, but now if I do catch them, I'm like this is ratchet. This is Maury with a giving everybody a mic at the same time.
Yeah. So now the most recent thing is that they are going out giving people YouTube strikes, copyright strikes.
Mm-hmm.
They sent copyright strikes to the lead attorney. They sent copyright strikes to Abba and Preach. They sent copyright strikes to, I think, Kevin Ray Wilder. They just sent out a lot of copyright strikes. And what I did not know is that you could abuse the copyright, like giving out copyright strikes. I did not know that. And now the lead attorney just did a live and he talked about the documentation that he received from YouTube, that with Fresh and Fit and them sending him these copyright strikes. And YouTube said, you are not in danger of losing your channel or your videos. If they don't stop the foolishness, YouTube could eventually take away their channel for abusing the copyright strikes. They have 7 days to respond and make it right. So for the next week, Fresh and Fit is going to be the topic of discussion because people, they're going to want to know, is their channel going to get taken down? Is it not? Personally, I don't think it will. They making YouTube too much money, and that's fine. You know what I'm saying? But I just think they corny at the end of the day. Japrice, baby free, you baby free. Have you heard about the new Fresh and Fit scandal? I know you like Fresh and Fit. I'll be teasing her because she like them.
Wait, is this true?
No, I used to watch them a lot. I used to watch them before I started watching Kevin Samuels. I actually found Kevin Samuels through them.
Oh, okay. I make sense.
Because my husband used to watch them. He doesn't watch them anymore. He's like done with them because my husband is a fan of Abba and Preach. So once that whole little stuff was going on between them two, he was like, "Yep, I'm doing fresh and fit." But I kept watching because I'm subscribed, and once I subscribe to a channel, I don't really unsubscribe unless I'm just like, yeah, no, like. But I wanted to ask, what is a copyright strike, or what is that?
Okay, so a copyright strike is pretty much taking someone else's content and using it as yours. So you know how we do like reactions and we always say fair use, that's pretty much you taking majority of somebody's content and using it as yours. You're not giving any kind of commentary or anything like that to make it your video. It's pretty much theirs. So Fresh and Fit were sending out copyright strikes to a whole bunch of YouTubers, and this got a lot of people pissed off because they feel like it's YouTube ethics. You know what I'm saying? You can talk about people as much as they want on your platform, but nobody's trying to copyright strike you or anything like that, have your channel taken down. So for you to do that to somebody else, it seems kind of bitch made, if you ask me. Very feminine. So that's the whole thing about that.
I think it's a balance though, because there are some people, there are some channels that are doing wholesale bootlegging though.
Yeah,
There is no,
for
there's
sure.
no commentary. It's literally just, hey, I'm taking this scene, putting it on my channel, and just like wholesale copying. So it's a balance. It, you know, I think about the Disney situation. Like,
Mhm.
don't put Disney on your channel.
Right.
If you want to get a copyright strike, don't put Disney on your channel. Why? Because they care about their content. They care about what they put out. They want to control narrative, content, control everything. They are in charge of their stuff.
Right.
So Fresh and Fit does have a right to say, "Hey, it's done. Y'all stop." But it's almost disingenuous when you start in this area. I can understand if you started from a different form of media and then you got into this space and now you're handing down the band hammer. But since you started in this area, you've benefited from the culture of this area. You've benefited from the system, the likes, the subscribes, the cash apps. You're totally in the YouTube space. You cannot then go back against the same space that made you popular.
Yep. Yep. And I thought that was totally whack. So, Japrice, let me ask you, with the scandal, I know you saw the scandal, and with what they're doing now, what still makes you a fan of theirs? Like, I'm very curious. Like,
I'm not a. I don't believe I'm a fan. Um, I just believe that. Okay, how about this? I just like that they were creative with their content because at first they didn't do that. But then when they start bringing on the girls and started interviewing them and started showing the guys like, hey, here's your proof of some of the things that we talk about. Um, that's what I liked. It was interesting to me to see because I don't have anybody in my circle particularly that thinks like that. So it was interesting to actually see these women, actually hear them and just see like, wow, I'm seeing Instagram girls live. And what they talk about and how they think. I think that was the part I was very interested in. And I did like how um see, I'm not a fan. I forgot his name. So already I forgot his name.
who, fresh or fit?
Myron.
Myron. There we go. I like how Myron kind of flipped things on them and actually proved them wrong and just opened up their his audience eyes to see like just basically what I said to show them this is how the modern woman is. And I don't know, I kind of liked Martin for a little bit, like not like him, but like like it's like I didn't have a problem with him kicking the girls out if they were being very nasty. That's
But
just like you kicking maybe some like like dismissing somebody that's just being nasty over talking, like they were just like it was interesting because it was drama, but I believe they had a right to kick somebody out.
I
They
mean,
just
and
didn't
that's cool if you be, and that's cool if you being disrespected. But I feel like they pick these women on purpose to get a moment, and
okay.
at that point, it becomes unorganic. It becomes almost staged. Why don't they get with? Because it's and even though I don't agree with people in the feminist space, but why don't you get somebody on there that can actually debate you on your
It was
beliefs?
it
They
was
started earlier, but it got to the point to where it was more beneficial to have Ratchet City every week. They
Right,
did like in the early game. I remember, like I said, you don't get a Kevin Samuels talking point without that type of woman. Kevin
right.
Samuels is not going to call in to these type of women. You get what I mean? So it there was a space and there was a time for that type of conversation. I just think now like it just got to beneficial of the kick a kick a kick a bad chick out.
Right.
See how far we can get a female frustrated, get them all in a room. Like it start man, it used to be what 5 6 max,
Mm. Y-
Caprice. You remember now they're like 13 in a room. Now they got a separate couch. It's like
That's
they got
crazy.
like they kick one out. It's like a whole nother three a roster. It's like they have literally a football team of females coming in.
So
Let's. Oh, go ahead, Japrice.
you sure? Okay. So
Yeah, go
I at first I was okay. So at first I thought that because I wasn't really understanding why they kept their phones. I know they kept their phones, and then I did hear something about that they were paying the girls like I'll give you like I think $100 if you do it if you come on, right? Or you guys don't know about that?
I wouldn't
I,
be surprised.
yeah, I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah. So in the beginning, that's how they were getting the girls to come on. Then they stopped doing that. Then they started taking the phones because the girls wanted to come on for exposure because their channel was blowing up. Because there was one girl that got kicked off, and I kind of felt bad for her. So I found her Instagram in the comments, and I went to her, and she was telling her story, and she was like, this is how they get the girls. They found me on Instagram. They offered to give me $100 if I, come on their show and be a part of their content. And I was like, okay, oh, okay. Like I didn't know that. Um, but I don't even see anything wrong with them having a seeking arrangements. What do you call it? CJ, you said because they say don't buy or whatever the case may be, but he's not saying he's buying them. He's saying that that's the easy way to actually get
But
these
he
kind of
is
women.
though. They show receipts of him paying. I mean, he is. Listen, if you want to trick, then trick. I don't necessarily have anything against tricking. The problem is when you preach so much against it and then you go out and do it. That's the issue. I mean, it's a lot of people that trick. That's cool. I mean, if that's what you want to do. I mean, I'm not against it. I don't do it. I don't do it, but I'm not against somebody else who does it. I've heard Kevin Samuel say on plenty of occasions that, you know, a lot, well, not most, but a lot of high value men pay for experiences. So it is what it is. But you can't scream on somebody saying, "Don't do this, don't do this." But meanwhile, you doing the exact opposite. That's the definition of a phony. But the audience, I just don't get it. I don't see how anybody could be subscribed and take them serious at this point after that, when they've literally been exposed for doing everything they speak against. Getting IG OnlyFans girls chicks pregnant, allegedly. Tricking on sugar babies. That's not alleged.
Wait.
That's real.
I love the part where Fresh was like, she likes me for me, right? And then they
Oh,
say, and then she says, and then he goes, well, we were supposed to hook up, but our schedules were busy. But one day I was at a yacht and I invited her and she came. And it's like,
bruh. Come on, bruh.
it's like, yeah, she was too busy because she thought she was a lame. But then you enticed her with the yacht.
He talking about some. Well, bro. I invited her to the yacht, and she came to the yacht, and at first she wasn't really trying to mess with me, but now I invited her to the yacht. She ain't had nothing to do, so she said, "Come on." And I'm like, bro, really?
Really, bro, that is the best impression because it's like the cap is so real. like this, it's funny, but like I said, it's good content for 25 and under for people who may not have experienced, who doesn't necessarily have as much experience. I'm a little bit jaded. I've seen a lot of stuff in my life, from prostitutions to to the street life. I've seen a lot, so I have a little bit of different direction in terms of human relationships. People who are just coming straight out of college, who've never done anything but other than school and work, I can understand why they can see this.
Right? Yeah. I mean, they definitely got their audience and they found their niche, but Fresh just wanted y'all to know she liked him for him. He said, Myron, she liked me for me. I mean, you guys want clout, and the only reason that you see you're jaded because girls like you for clout. When they see me, they like me because I have game. When he said that, I lost it. I almost flipped the computer over. I
Bruh,
almost flipped the computer
bruh,
over, bro.
bruh.
It's just too much. But I just think this whole copyright strike thing, man, you going around, I think that's some BS. That is some BS.
I mean, it's tough for me because I am a content creator, but it's kind of one of those things. Like I said, I understand if I'm going to make content on YouTube, then I'm liable to the YouTube standards of conditions. I think Kevin Samuels is even kind of going through it where he was kind of mad that at a certain point that people were using his IG
Hmm.
stuff and putting it on YouTube.
Yeah.
That's where I kind of get kind of like, if I'm on a different media platform, then yes, I'm not following by the YouTube content fair use stuff.
Hmm.
Now I want to treat my stuff like Disney.
Yeah.
If I take the time and I film a movie and I sell it on in a DVD format or in a movie theater, there is no space on YouTube. It should be allowed.
Yeah.
But as long as I'm on YouTube doing it, then I have to have some reasonable plausibility that it's gonna be used for YouTube stuff. It's like where's the button for that to say no use? It's like,
Let me
you
ask you
know,
a question, E Black. I
mm-hmm.
know that reaction channels and everything like that, they get pretty popular
Yeah,
and everything like that. And you see channels that even have millions of subscribers and everything like that. But I mean, I get that it can translate into income from YouTube. But one thing I've noticed is that people are fickle. People will turn on you like that. And with those reaction channels and everything like that, you building a quick base off of somebody else's name. As a content creator, do you think that's the best route to go? Because are you building a fan base based off people liking you for you, or are you building a fan base of people watching what you just gonna say about somebody else? Because that's the one thing I will give Fresh and Fit. They do have original content. I don't see them like taking other people's stuff and reacting to it. They built their base on their own. So I can give credit where credit is due. And that's why I'm kind of reluctant about doing reactions myself. And I know it's a good way to get hot. It's a quick way to get hot on YouTube. It's a quick way to get notices. But is that really the best way for longevity? Because you have people like Tariq Nasheed who has 180,000 subscribers but can raise $1 million in 30 days. I don't know if a lot of these YouTubers can do that.
I agree. This is one of the debates that I've had with, it's particularly for my channel. I think I had other than my first video, which was a reaction video to my own video that I
Hmm.
had, and even I took that down. I didn't want to do reaction videos because, like I said, you don't really gain substance with that. But I understand sometimes people want to see your reaction to it. I think I love reaction channels. Like
Me too.
like Shaq is one of my favorite.
Oh, No Life
You
Shack. Yeah.
no like Shaq. He's one of my favorite YouTubers because I see the reaction in him. So it doesn't matter if he's doing rock or rap or whatever genre. I see he's more than the content that he's reacting to.
Right.
The thing about it is when you get into this space to where what I've seen is literally I ain't even gonna mention his name, but I can't stand this content creator, right? He sits there with a Kevin Samuels video and acts like he's Kevin Samuels' co-host. And I'm like, nobody wants to hear you, bro. It's like he sits there and he plays Kevin Samuels stuff, and then he pauses and he says, "Yeah, and that's why women don't like you." And then presses. I'm like, dude, you mad corny because you're really you lightweight jacking,
Mm.
like, and there's a lot of content. It's all in taste, basically. To me, it's all in taste. But like I said, whoever I can't any black man that's trying to feed their family in a nonviolent way, I can't knock. Any black woman the same way. So it's but like I said, I'm not. I just I don't know. I'm not that guy. I'm not that guy, man.
Me either. Japrice, I know you haven't interjected a lot. Maybe you may not be familiar, but what are your thoughts so far as do you watch a lot of YouTube?
I do, but it's more so like with like panelists. I watch the Lapeef Network. I watch Anton Daniels. I watch Amira. Um, I watch you. I watch E Black. So it's just
Appreciate it.
that. Um, I don't like watching reaction videos, especially if I haven't actually watched that live. And if I did watch that podcast live, I'm not watching it again. And I don't want to hear your reactions because I've seen and read so many reactions in the comments, you know. So if it's something like, I think in the beginning of this whole YouTube thing, I used to watch like reactions of like funny videos or reactions of like trying out different products and stuff like that. But as far as like reacting to like another, like somebody reacting to Kevin Samuels, I wouldn't watch it. Um, do you guys think that Fresh and Fit and Cameo and Kevin Samuels have similar channels? I mean, like
No.
as far as their content and all that stuff, like do they talk about the same stuff? Like, is it different or is it the same?
That's a good
I mean,
question.
you can probably take pieces of what Fresh and Fit saying, pieces of what Kevin Samuel says, and draw parallels to them. But as a channel, I think it's a whole different type of vibe. Like E Black said, it's for the 25 and under crowd, and I do believe that because as somebody who's 30, I can listen to a Kevin Samuels and receive it better because one, I think he's always been authentic from the jump. Two, as many scandals as they tried to put on dude, nothing has ever come to light. Three, dude is very mature. He doesn't entertain beef and everything like that. So I'm just like, I could rock with Kevin um, more so than a Fresh and a Fit. And four, they've been exposed. So there's nothing more to talk about. You know what I'm saying? They've been exposed for everything for doing everything that they preach against. So at that token, what else? Why am I even listening to you?
Yeah,
So
with Kevin Samuels, with I, like CJ was saying, is that they speak to two different demographic groups, but about the same message. So the attitude is different. The approach is different. They have I can understand why Myron and Fresh have to be more aggressive towards younger women and meet them at their level, whereas Kevin is more laid back, reserved, cultured because he's expecting a different type of maturity coming back from his audience or and the participants. Um, I honestly want to say Kevin Samuels is coming from a different perspective in revolving marriage. But in terms of like, are they the same product? Are they both orange soda? Yeah, yeah. So,
I mean, I mean, Kevin says he's a men's advocate channel,
mhm.
Fresh and Fit. They advocate for guys and they talk about guys being, um, better. But let me ask y'all this: since we are talking about the whole red pill space, I like Kevin a lot and AMS, and I like the guys that focus on the men putting in the work. A lot of what I hear in the red pill space is it's all the blame on women. And you can't put all the blame on women. You just cannot do that. Because a lot of guys who are the best versions of themselves, a lot of them don't have them problems. Like for real, that's really out here doing it. For real, for real. A lot of them dudes don't have them issues. And I see a lot of guys complain over in now it's like white pill and black pill and orange pill and just all kind of like it's too much now at this point. And I always think the main message should be if you become the best version of yourself in all aspects, your problems, not saying that you ain't gonna ever have problems, but your problems with women will probably drop drastically, even in life. Because I've always said, like, and I'm working on it myself. Like, I've always said, if a man can make a nice income, he knows how to adapt in different scenarios and around different people, and he has a great body, there's no way to lose. Like, how can you lose with those ingredients as a man? Like, I don't know. What do you think about that? Whoever wants to go.
Dupriest, I'll let you go because I know I'll be. I'll be up here talking to my guy all day.
Yeah, I want to hear. I don't know too much about the manosphere besides, and like I just learned I didn't just learn what the red pill and blue pill is, but I just learned what black pill is. So I'm interested to hear what you guys are saying. And also, like, I have a son, and I found out what the gender of our new baby is, another boy. So this is all interesting. I'm taking it in. Of course, I have my husband here, but I do want to hear. I want to hear. I'm listening.
Yeah. What I've always said in regards to this pill stuff and all this stuff, I never knew what this. I'm from Oakland, California, so I'm in a weird spot to where I've learned a lot of this stuff by viewing. I had, the pimp game is really heavy in the Bay Area, Oakland, California, but at the same time we had the Black Panthers. So we see two dynamics working in the same area. So you chose which side you wanted to be on. Either you wanted to be working with your brothers and sisters, creating for your community, or you wanted to use the female, and you had to deal with that stuff. So when I got into this space and I learned about the manosphere and all this stuff, of course I'm seeing a lot of the outcasts. The loudest voices aren't always the smartest. So I've done some more research. I've dug down deep into it, and I think CJ hit it right on the head. As long as you're handling your business, the world is your oyster. The world is yours as long as you're doing what you have to do. I've never been in a position to where I've been able to right now recognize where I faulted in my life as a man, based on income, based on looks, based on stature, based on status. I can figure it out. Okay, when I was at that club that day, my shoes was busted.
Right.
I can't blame it on I didn't make enough money. But then I could recognize the day that when I was at a place and I was looking tight and what the effect with the room was. There's things that can't be taught, and there's things that have to be trained, and you can't cheat the system. There's no book that's going to do this for you. That's why you need other men to help you get through these things, and you need other men that are willing to talk to you, and you need competition also.
Yeah.
You need to be able to say, you know what, the finest girl in the room don't want me, even though I've said that. You want that busted dude? Yeah. How many times I've done that? Like, so, when you've lived enough as a man, you understand these things. I think at certain times, in the younger spaces, they want to shortcut the system, which is good because it does help with corporate mobility. That's what it's really about. A lot of this is corporate mobility. A lot of younger men want to be able to be in the shark's den and to be the biggest fish and to be able to say, hey, I got this type of woman and I'm younger and I'm more richer at this younger age. It's a tough thing. It's a tough thing.
You know what, man? I was watching a video, and this is what really made me realize that it's a lot of hating going on in the space. I was watching a video that Rollo Tomasi did, and I don't listen to Rollo Tomasi, but it just happened to be a reaction video that Fresh and Fit did with Mike Rashid, right? So they were on Mike Rashid's show, and Rollo Tomasi was hating on Mike Rashid. You know who Mike Rashid is? Okay, I'll let you know. Hold on.
Is he a workout person?
Yeah.
Okay,
What's up, Rodney?
I think did he?
What's going on, bro?
Was it basically saying that you don't want a body like that because women don't care?
No, he was saying that, everything was handed to Mike Rashid. Oh, okay. You got a lot of stuff going on in your background.
Oh, sorry about
it. Oh, okay. He was pretty much saying that, Mike Rashid, it's easy for him. Look at him. It's easy for him. A lot of people can't relate to that because it's easy for him. Mike Rashid had to grind. Okay, so Mike Rashid, he works out, he weight lifts on YouTube. He's a boxer. Has his look together. He's a physical specimen that probably most women will want to be with. You know what I'm saying? And then I felt like Rollo was just hating on the dude. Y'all all disappearing. Y'all good? Y'all still here? Uh-oh. Did I cut out? Oh, I didn't know. I didn't know if something happened. Okay, okay. All right, cool. Let me see. Rodney, you can chime back in whenever you feel like it. I'm in here. Oh, I got my boy.
Okay. Yeah, I'm at work, so I had to step into one of the offices here. But
Okay.
yeah, uh, the thing with the red pill guys is these guys. A lot of these guys are young, and they're a mix between MGTOW and red pill. Red pill is just seeing the situation as it is and dealing with it as it is, as opposed to getting all emotional about it and wishing it is something else. Black pill is basically a cynical view of all of it, because I mean, once you get old enough, a lot of stuff just becomes irrelevant to you. So it's just phases that you go into. You find that a lot of Rolo and them, they're MGTOW guys, and we don't really, we in the Black manosphere, we don't really embrace them, So we're doing our own thing. And you see Fresh and Fit, they pull Rolo and them in, but see, that's a gimmick. That's for them to be embraced into that side, because they see a mix of getting Black exposure and white exposure as growing beyond what a lot of the Black manosphere people are doing. And hey, yeah, that's their thing.
I like I said, when I saw Rolo hating on Mike Rashid, I'll say, okay, I know what this really is. I know what
Oh,
this
but he
really
does
is.
that ain't the
And
first time.
yeah, and I clearly see what. Shout out to Culture. Culture be supporting. He said people like Mike Rashid are called naturals. It's not a slander. It's a fact. Listen, Mike Rashid wasn't born like that though. He was
But
not born like that. Mike
but
Rashid had to work to get the body that he has. He had to put in the work. Now he's reaping the benefits.
But Mike came out and made some comments after he got in there. He was saying that basically red pill guys are basically just some incels, and he was coming down on quite a few of us in the Black manosphere. But he went back and he did his research, and he did a show, and he addressed it a little bit more intelligently. And he said, okay, I digress. Some of what I said, I probably shouldn't have said. He said, I can kind of understand that. But a lot of the things that are coming easy to Mike, he didn't want to acknowledge that because he has money, because he has a nice body, because he has fame, that he has a different pick of the litter than the average guy. And he says, well, he believes that basically you should get your money up, you should get your body up. And yeah, that's true, but there was some aspects of it that I don't think that he was really accounting for. Now, I'm gonna tell you, I'm an advocate for whether you ugly or broke down, whatever, shoot your shot, because sometimes just your charisma will get you in places that that you might not, the other guy might not be able to get in. It's kind of like women being mad because another woman has the same dress she has on, but that person's not you.
Right. And like I said, man, you know what? Nothing feels better to me than putting in the work. Like I said, one of the things that being in the manosphere has taught me is to be accountable for the mistakes that I've made in my past. And that's what I appreciate the people in the Black manosphere for. I hear a lot of accountability over there, putting in the work. Shout out to Kevin Samuels. Shout out to Ron Wills. Ron Wills,
Man,
a
why
guy
weren't
that
you at the Manosphere event, man?
I was at work. I heard about it though in Atlanta.
Yeah, I was there.
How was it?
Man, it was lit. It was lit.
Okay. Who
It
was
was
all
lit.
there?
Minister Jap was there. Man, O'Shea, not O'Shea. Obsidian was there. Bernard was there.
Poor Man's podcast was there.
No, Poor Man wasn't there.
He wasn't there. I saw some pictures with him and who was it? Him and a couple other content creators. I thought it was at that event.
No.
Okay.
I think I know what picture you're talking about. No, that
Mhm.
wasn't the same place. But
Okay.
yeah, it was a good event. the way that I want to describe the Black Manosphere is literally. I know they're trying to replicate this, but it's not being done properly. But the barbershop. How many times have you walked into the barbershop and you just the conversation is wide open, right? But you don't know who's the supervisor, who's the business owner. You don't know because everybody's in their regular clothes. Right. Everybody's in their get up, right? That is what the Black Manosphere is in terms of YouTube space. Because you're hearing a wide open conversation, but you can't tell, oh, this guy actually works and he's a supervisor. This guy makes this amount of money. You can't tell because they're just using their mouthpiece. It's that type of vibe. So I've really had a change of heart in terms of what's going on in terms of what the Black Manosphere is about, because I've had these conversations 1,000 times over my life. We've all built as men. If Japrice wasn't here, our vibe is different. And that's no offense to Japrice. It's just that men naturally know when to take their claws a little bit further back, like a tiger. We know when to not in the faces of certain people not to show our stuff, but when we're in the faces of each other. So a lot of times it gets confusing because people will come in and get a snapshot. Now, how many times have you gone to a barbershop and a woman walks in and the conversation all automatically changes?
For sure.
Like we wide open, and the next thing you know, a woman walks in because we don't want these conversations. Well, what YouTube has done is it puts the woman in there, but it gets misconstrued because people, like I said, once again, people don't see the fact that we're men building. Like I said, I'm starting to see the different men behind these avatars, behind these screens, and I'm seeing like, oh, brother, this dude, he a supervisor somewhere. He making bread.
A lot of us are. And the thing about it is, but then there's the other side of it is that Black men have gotten pissed off essentially because the loud and obnoxious types who basically have characterized us, and this been going on for a long time. Look, man, I'm in my 50s. So I've seen quite a bit of this, in the 80s, in the 90s, hell, in parts of the 70s. This has been going on, and it's like Edge of Tomorrow. I mean, we just keep resetting. We got what level of pro-blacks is it now? I mean, how many pro-black movements have we seen? So each time, the only thing that's different now is that we have the internet. We actually have a dedicated platform to where we can actually speak our minds. And we have lost a lot because of the characterization in the media and by word of mouth through women who were louder than good women, and we've been characterized a certain way. So we've gotten to the point to where we have turned against that. We are all not Mr. But some people. I had a conversation with a nurse that was here saying that I was at my job, and I made a comment about how someone was acting like there were just roving bands of people going around and mistreating women in college, and she said it is, and I was like, this is crazy. There is no evidence to support that, but just these feelings and these anecdotal stories about all these women being taken advantage of and treated wrong and all of that. Look, man, I can tell you as a male nurse, I can tell you I've been fondled, touched on, talked to all any kind of way so many times I cannot even count.
Hello.
Now, they never talk about that, but if a man brings it up, he's soft. He must be gay. All of these shaming tactics that people use. And the only reason why, look, Kevin is not the first person who has done this. Shahrazad Ali did it. It was on the Tony Brown show back in the 80s. So you had the 80s. No, you had the 70s.
I even remember Tariq Nasheed doing it.
Yes. So each era, 70s, 80s, 90s. You know, it's been the same issue. But then you have women out here trying to say that no, it doesn't exist. No, it doesn't exist. Yes, it exists. And then when The Color Purple came out, it exploded.
Mm.
You
Let me
know,
get my man. Let me get my man King Jizzle, King Gene up in here. What's up, King Gene?
What's going on, everybody? How's everybody feeling?
what's happening, Gene? Much respect,
What's
man.
going
Much
on, Gene?
respect.
Mr. Rodden, how you getting along? You good,
Oh,
brother?
oh, I'm good, man. I came by your channel and sub, man.
I appreciate you now. I did the
All
same
right.
for you now. We swapped out.
I appreciate you. I hope you like the content, man.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh yeah,
All
oh
right.
yeah. I subscribe too, man. I'm digging the content.
Appreciate you.
What you think about this, King Gene? Go ahead and spit some ism for us. Lay us with some wisdom, real quick.
Now, I tell you, I absolutely agree with Mr. Rodden on this one. But now, as far as our space, the Black manosphere, I think that a lot of guys are confused as to what the use of it is, because it's like uh, what we're trying to do. The majority of the guys that I know, he Black. I've seen his content. I agree, Mr. Rodney. Yours, CJ. A lot of the content creators are saying, okay, uh, there were some misconceptions, even some outright lies that have been put out. What are we going to do? Are we going to respond negatively, or are we going to shine the light on these misconceptions and these lies and try to uh, put the truth out? So, what are we going to do? And I think that a lot of times when there's a response to videos that I've done, you have a lot of guys in the comment that are looking for something to hold on to be angry about, but that's not what we're about.
Right.
Now, understand the initial anger. Understand being, you're upset because there's a lot of things that were said, that were taught, that they don't work in real life situations. They don't work. I can understand the anger from that, but as a man, as someone who's trying to build something, are you going to take your energy, because your energy is precious? You're going to take the energy that you have and waste it on being angry, or are you going to take it and try to put it into something constructive and positive so that we can move past all this foolishness? I feel sorry for some of those brothers. A lot of times I have full-fledged conversations with them because I'm trying to convince them, man, listen, this energy that you're wasting right now, you could be doing something world changing with it. Don't focus on the negative. It's there. We know. We're aware. But let's see if we can do something that's more constructive and positive.
What do y'all think about because I said on the other video I did, I think yesterday, that from the ages of 16 to 30, I don't think a young man should be in a serious relationship. I really don't. I think from the ages of 16 to 30, a young man's only purpose should be getting on his grind, getting his money up, and making sure his body is tight.
I
That's
disagree.
me. What you say? You disagree?
Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Have
Yeah.
you ever
Go ahead,
chased a
bro.
6-year-old? Have you ever chased a 6-year-old at 30? like it don't get easier when you get older, man. It just because you got older doesn't make adulthood easier. It doesn't change your mentality. Actually, in fact, it does change your mentality so much to where the stuff that you learn between 16 to 30 goes flying out the window. You become a man, you become a father, you become a husband. The things that in life that you feel that, I remember me and my wife, we had a couple of years where it was just us two. Those years are far behind us. The man that you see now is based on the fact that I have a daughter and I'm responsible and I'm I'm changing as an individual to meet the demands and needs of somebody else that, like, not necessarily. I had to change because I was being married. That was one change. My natural flirtation, my natural wants and needs, that was a change, right? Then I had to change because I had somebody who I knew came from me. So I don't agree with somebody 16 getting a child, but I do believe that there's a natural progression. But we have to start. In my opinion, we have to start changing the mentality of the men and taking responsibility. So whenever you do become in that position, then you're able to handle it. But prolonging it, all it does is just make your knees hurt.
See, I had to disagree with that, and I'm gonna tell you why. Then I'm gonna go around the panel. Is because from the ages of 16 to 30, that is when you are trying to find yourself in all different aspects of your life, especially financially. And I know everybody says you are never ready to have a kid. That's fine. But I'd rather be in a situation to where I can financially take care of a child better versus me at 21, 20, 18, 19. Listen, if I was to have a child right now, we good. And I understand that things can happen and things can be taken away, but 18-year-old CJ versus 30-year-old CJ are in two totally different are on two totally different levels. And I feel like now with my and I feel like now with my maturity and with me being having the income that I have, cool. I won't have to worry about as many things as I would if I was, say, 18 and me and the child's mom both got to go to work. If she have a baby, she don't got to go to work. She can sit at the house and take care of my child. I don't got to pay this much for daycare and all that kind of stuff. That's why I personally think between the ages of 16 and 30, you need to be lace focused. I do not think a man should be having kids under 30 years old. That's just me personally. I'm gonna let Rodney get it, and I'm gonna see what your priest and King Gene think. Rodney, what you think?
Agree with you. Now, the other aspect of it is that the mindset of an 18-year-old during that time. Hell, it's hard to get them to even focus on the things that are important because it's just not relevant to them. So, sometimes it takes a little bit longer for them to see what's relevant so that some things have historical precedent that they can't appreciate. Some of them, they read stuff in school, but they really don't, comprehend. They do it because they're made to do it. But then when you start getting to a point to where you're doing things because it's relevant to you and because you see some benefit and some way that it can help you, then you move on. But 16 to 18, you're not really trying to do any of that. That's really puppy love. That's times when you're learning how to interact with people and form social connections and whatnot. But it's true. You're not going to hit that money until you actually get into your mid 20s to mid 30s. To late 30s, and that's true. But I'm gonna tell you, a lot of us during that time, we were lost. We were just trying to have fun, And as much, look, my son's 20 now, and as much as I try to keep him on point, man, he's gonna do what he wants to do. He'll tell me, "Yeah, Daddy," but he's gonna do what he wants to do. And I keep telling him, I'm like, man, maybe I need to send you to the military where you get some more firmer, direction, because sometimes I think that's what we need. As much as these women say, well, like talk about Kevin's, delivery. Maybe if he said it a little softer. No, sometimes you need to be talked to crazy, And I'll let y'all go.
Yeah, I learned at a very young, and I'm about to pass it to King Gene. I learned at a very young age about the damages of child support. I don't know if I told y'all this, but when I was about 10 years old, I had worked for like about 6-7 hours in the yard with my pops. And my pops used to pay me and everything like that. And he was like, "Man, you really put in the work today. You did real good." And he paid me the money. It was like $20. And he was like, "Son, let me ask you a question." He said, "You want kids?" I said, "I don't know. I'm 10 years old." I said, "I guess." He was like, "You see that $20 I just gave you?" I said, "Yeah." He said, "Hand it here." He ripped the $20 bill up in half and gave it back to me. And he said, "That's what happens when you have kids. Nothing is ever fully yours, and you don't want to do it before you're ready. You need to be in a position to take care of a child financially, so you don't have to live in poverty and your child don't have to grow up in poverty." Let me pass it to King Gene. My bad, King Gene. Go ahead, brother.
Now, I'll tell you one thing. Your father was absolutely right on point with that, brother.
Absolutely. I agree.
Absolutely. Because now, while you were talking, I just looked up, some information on it. And your brains, both men and women, your brain, it fully matures at 25, right? So anything before that time, you're not even dealing with a fully mature brain. So how are you going to be someone's father? How are you going to bring someone into the world and then steer their direction? And then it went on to mention that our sisters, they fully mature at 32. We fully mature at 43. So I would say the closer that you are to maturity, I would think the better you would be as a parent. So if you're looking at, because I tell you now, I have some, because now you know I became a parent early. I was 23 at the time, and was I ready? I'm 39 now. Was I ready? Absolutely not. I can tell you I wasn't. I had the basic concepts of what it meant to be a parent, to go out and work and to provide and to make sure everybody has clothes and food and things of that sort. But what else could I teach them? I didn't have enough life experience at that particular point. So what could I teach them? What could I hand to them? I didn't have anything to hand to them, you know. But as I've grown older, you know, they've been able to see their father mature too. They've been able to see me do some things, pull off some things that, you know, early in life I had some doubts about doing, but I was able to pull those things off. So it's like you said, man, if you are looking at marriage, I would say 30 probably would be a good time to start. I think it would be because, you know, if you haven't lived, if you haven't experienced anything, what can you bring?
Well, that woman better be younger than that.
Yeah, that's the point. Like you're literally pushing the ball down the road. Now you're telling a 30-year-old man to wait for, I guess what age are we talking woman now?
23, 24, 25.
Yeah, that's about right.
Yeah, why not?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, because outside of that, there's geriatric pregnancy.
There's a part of getting it out the mud that you guys are kind of missing. That when you grow with a person at that age, at 23, 24, that's different from meeting a person at 30 years old and you've already established a lot of the things that you want in life. Those are two different types of relationships. So I as much as I respect that part, I just want you guys to acknowledge the fact that, okay, a young 24-year-old meeting a 24-year-old, getting it out the mud with each other is different from a 30-year-old trying to find his wife in a 24-year-old.
Well, I don't think he was saying to, you know, get your 24-year-old and get, you know, we're saying that once you get to the person, you spend that time to get to know them. But, you know, I wouldn't go so far as having a kid at 30, because by the time you guys are a little bit too late. But if you guys say met and you guys were still working towards getting, you know, whatever, your school and all that stuff, that's about the time when you're going to meet outside of college anyway, or nursing school or whatever the case may be. You know, and you guys work up to a point, and then say 3 years into it, you know, you guys, you know, have a kid at, say, you know, 24, you know, 25 or 28 or whatever the case, but 26, I'll say 26. I mean, you're good to go, you know, if you're just going to have one, you know. But if you're going to have more than that, it's going to have to be around about 23, 24 maybe, you know. But I've seen people do that in the military, you know, but it's a different mindset. These kids today, they don't have the same mindset that we used to have.
I was just about to say that. There is no way I would tell a man, a young boy that's coming up, to get with a chick before the age of 30, especially coming up in today's generation. Mm-hmm. Absolutely not. You need to have everything tight. You did, because you don't have. Listen, I was talking about being average and being above average. These young boys today, you don't have the room. You don't have the luxury of being average now, especially in the generation they coming up in.
No, sir. I mean, look at Instagram. Have you ever? I mean, for y'all that's got boys or little girls, have y'all seen the people that they're dating, the pictures of the people that they're looking at, and then you think about when you were coming up? Man, I looked at my son's his little girlfriend pictures that girls were trying to get with him, and I was like, damn, these women are fucking amazing. You know what I mean? And I mean, compared to what I used to. I mean, I was still kicking it with chicks with ponytails and baseball caps and shit. These girls are off the chain, and everybody everybody is of a such higher caliber of beauty that it's just crazy. And then their maturity level is so low. It's just, I mean, I wouldn't trust them to do nothing, man. I really wouldn't. It's scary. It really is truly scary.
Japrice, let me ask you, as a mother of a young boy, and you're pregnant with a young son, with a boy, what do you think about the conversation that you are hearing right now, as far as helping, assisting your husband with prepping your sons for life and possibly choosing a mate and being a man? What do you think, with what you're hearing so far?
Okay. I thought I was hearing something about what age should a man get married or and have a baby, right?
That was in there. We talked about
Oh,
that.
okay. So, um, with marrying someone that's not American, but he has been here for 10 years now, he has a different mindset. Um, a totally different mindset. We were we are not 30 yet, 28, and we got married when we were 25. Um, I only advocate for getting married at that age if they come from two-parent household because their mindset is different. Also, if they are not like if they're not American, because those people out there in, let's just say, Africa, to be Ghana, which is what I'm very familiar with, their mindset is totally different. Most men most men out there anyway don't get married until after 35 because that's when the testosterone goes down and they're able to be kind of like monogamous with a woman without like, the temptation and stuff like that. Because I do know, men go through a lot of temptation. It's normal. So, and I do believe that a woman should get married after 25. I mean, she should start looking for a mate between 23 and 25 to someone that's the 35, or at least in that range. I remember my husband coming home one day from watching a Fresh and Fit when they first started watching. He was like, I don't know. I'm thinking about arranged marriages. Like, our Edom has to. He's like his wife is gonna be back home.
Yeah.
And I was like, what do you mean? What's going on? And I was like, what do you mean? What do you want to? And he was like, no. And I watched it. I was like, oh, okay, wow, that's why I started watching. I was like, okay, that makes a whole lot of sense. So it was already hard not hard, but his family already like didn't really want him to marry me because I'm American. Because they thought it was really hard. In the beginning, they did not want him to marry me at all, like at all. They was like, no American, no black, no black woman, girl, no, because they thought that. But once they started to get to know me and they talked to my parents, they came over, did something called knocking, when his parents and my parents come together and they negotiate of what is expected from each of us. They were like, oh, they kind of like, oof, So I understand. I'm not ready. I don't know. I don't know. I was just thinking when you guys were talking, like, what am I gonna? I don't know.
You're gonna
Listen,
have to school him. You're gonna have to school him, boy, because you're gonna have to take the place of your husband's parents now, because you're gonna have to. These women out here now, they are out of control. And I gotta say this to you. I watched the other show. The other show I came up for a second. I mean, you carry yourself in a way that is unusual. You have, I mean, much respect for me, because those other women on the panel the last time. I mean, no, those are the people that black women can do whatever they want to do and talk all crazy and all that kind of stuff. When these people overseas see that, they characterize all women that way, and that's what we red pillars and and in the manosphere space, we're trying to tell that what you guys, not you, but what some of these other ones, the louder ones, the more visual ones, though they're projecting an image that is so detrimental to the image of American black women, to the point to where, nobody's readily trying to come over here. I work with a nurse from Kenya, and he said the same thing. He said, no, there are no catalogs of American women that that men from Kenya are looking at to try to come over here and get an American woman. No. He said, no, when you go back home, you come over here and work, and you go back home and get a woman. And I mean, I sat and I listened to him about that, man. And I said, that's great. Look, they got catalogs of Russian women, all kinds of women from all over the place. They don't have any catalogs of American women they come over here and come get. That ought to tell you something.
And that's why I do advocate. I'm gonna go back to E Black. And that's why I do advocate so much for the guys to not be focused on relationships before 30 now, because I'm telling you, if you put all those ingredients that I named to use, making sure your income is straight, making sure your body is right, learning how to adapt and interact in different spaces, having a relentless grind, knowing how to dress, like the world is your oyster. Nobody can stop you, and it will eliminate I would even say most of the problems that you will experience dealing with any woman. Because if you got that going for yourself, a woman knows she's going to have to come correct at that point.
Have you ever read?
Can I ask this?
Yeah, go ahead.
I love this conversation, right? But I have a daughter, right? So what you're saying is that even as men who do all the right things and they raise the daughter right, they're still not raising the right type of daughters based on the society that we live in.
Well, this is what it comes down to. Sometimes, like Japrice, I mean, I don't know how much. She's ex-military, so I'm sure, I don't know how she was before she went in the military. But if she was, raised right, went into the military, then she, when you have a woman who has been in the military, you are trained to be selfless, not selfish. And you learn that you are a part of something greater than yourself that may even require you to sacrifice yourself for the sake of the greater good, for the team, and a lot of women out here don't know how to do that. You may raise your daughter right, and, she may hang on to that religiously, but then she's going to be exposed to the media. And we already know that, once kids go to school, they are some hours, a lot the states. The state is teaching them a lot of how they should interact with people, what is acceptable, what's not acceptable. That's why we have to be on our kids so much. But when I say women, I'm not saying all women. Your daughter, with your teaching and your guidance, may be one of the ones that is acceptable. But if she is, you have to take into consideration that she's not going to be as visible as the ratchet ones that are out here. The ratchet ones got the mic, man.
And that's the point that I kind of wanted to make, was that if we take away the accountability of fathers, then it seems like the whole situation is lost. That just because they're born, they're hopeless. It's not that they're born and they're hopeless in America, it's that they're born and hopeless without their fathers.
Absolutely.
So that's the point that I want to make, is that essentially that, there are lost women out here. There are lost people out here. However, me as the father is training a individual that can meet the standards that of marriage. So we need to be like, sometimes it's the way we think of things, and sometimes the way that we communicate, the way, because it's cool to bash down on the women, but sometimes we need to say that, well, did they have a father? What, as the father, have you contributed to that? Are you contributing more ratchet behavior, or are you contributing more stuff? Because even as us as men, even in this YouTube space, I always said, we get successful and we go off into the sunset, and we don't say a thing about how we got successful in our life. Same thing with the women. The same thing with the women. The women who got successful, who married their man, they're not on YouTube.
You know why?
Not a lot of them. I apologize.
Right. You know why? Mm-hmm. You know why? Because they don't want to be attacked. They
Yeah.
want to live.
Exactly.
They want to live. No, I literally did a show on this yesterday. Successful people hide because they don't want to be subjected to the BS.
And they're labeled
Exactly.
as pick me's.
So that's
You
not
know.
so when I see sometimes a lot of times people we get into these we get into these grovel pits into where we're saying these people are bad, these people are bad. But like I said, I want to make sure that we're establishing there are ways of getting out of there, and it starts with accountability with the men, and it starts with accountability with the mothers and the fathers.
Always.
So we sometimes it gets crazy because we get on these higher conversations and it's like obvious, but then sometimes we forget the fact that I can raise a daughter that does establish that can establish a relationship.
Oh no, I totally
It
agree
is.
with that.
Yeah, 100.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't think anybody disagrees with
Yeah,
that.
yeah. Don't take me wrong. That's totally not what I'm saying. Because I'm gonna tell you, the statistics show that daughters and sons who are raised in two-parent households do tons better than those without. So I mean, I believe all of us on the panel. I mean, I've seen all of us on the panel are those who are adamant about raising our children the right way, and we're all concerned about those things. Now, I've never heard of a father, out here raising his daughter to be ratchet. I've never heard of that. I mean, I've never seen that anywhere. Fathers are always like, "You not wearing that? Don't go out here, in that. Don't, So I hate to say it, but look, I'll talk about a situation where we had in another one of the panels that I was on. And we have a young guy who comes on and he gets in there and he starts going in on a lot of stuff. And I'm like, man, how old are you? You are not old enough to have the type of experiences that we've had in here. And I'm a little concerned that you are taking these stories and you're doing what some women do. They become bag ladies. They carry all these stories that they got from their aunties and all their girlfriends and stuff, and men ain't shit and all of that because you carrying these bags. But what have you experienced? And a lot of them haven't experienced anything. They just scared. And you cannot live your life afraid. Life is about risk. Life is about getting out there and getting it and doing what you need to do. You can't be afraid of anything. But that's what you do. If you got a young guy on your panel, you tell that young guy, look, don't be afraid. You get out there and you go do what you got to do. So that's part of our responsibility as well in trying to make sure that these guys proceed from a position of strength and not from weakness and fear.
King Gene, spit some for me. What you think, sir?
Ooh, I don't know if I got anything left after Mr. Rodney did that, Cole. He just summed up the whole basis for my entire channel. My entire channel is based off of the fact that if there's accountability involved, that's not something we run from. We don't run from that. We don't run from the responsibilities involved in the things that we say we want. So now I'm saying that that's a part of manhood. I'm not saying, because I hate that term when people say, well, if you a real man, then I'm not going to do that. That's ridiculous to me. Now, manhood looks different to different people, but there are a certain set of things that we all do as men. We're hardwired for certain things.
Yeah.
And so I think that one of the things that we're hardwired to do is we're hardwired to look at a situation that we've created, and we're hardwired to go in that situation and try to make the best out of it. I think we're hardwired for that. But now, as far as whether or not guys do that now, it's like Mr. Rodney mentioned. They're exposed to so many things. The media tells them, okay, you're supposed to be this way, right? And then there are other issues that come up. Maybe they weren't raised with a father. There's so many things that could alter their course. But as men who have been exposed to quite a few things in life, it's our responsibility to say, hey, young brother, I know what you heard. I know what you were told. But this is the way to go right here. This is how you do it. And if you need me, I'll be on standby to help walk you through it. Here, I'm standing right here, no problem. Because if he didn't have a father, then there's absolutely no way that he knows which way he ought to go. And since we've been there, we took the knocks and the hits and the bumps, we can help them avoid that. if they'll listen.
Man, and to go back to what Rodney was talking about, literally dropped a video today about what Brittany Cooper was talking about, the nuclear family, right? And it was talking about how we need fathers and mothers in the same household because they statistically become more successful. 70% of juveniles murderers are from single parents. 70% of God, I forget. I got the stats somewhere. I'm a terrible memory writer, but it basically stated that majority of it does not guarantee success. However, it is an indicator of success when you have a mother and a father in the household. 82% of families are not in poverty when they have both parents in the household. You see the graduation rates of people. 43% of graduates from college are from married family households. The people who graduate from college are from married family households. It's not all of them. It's just a fact of the matter is that these are the people that are doing it. So you're just giving your child a better head start. So, the role of the man and the woman in a household is definitely understated, and we need to kind of bring that back to the reality and start telling people that single parenthood, single motherhood is not the option.
But you know what's crazy though, E Black? We now live in a world where they telling men it's okay to be feminine. We live in a world where they telling men it's okay to be feminine. It's bad to be masculine. It's toxic. It's toxic to be in competition with another man. Everybody gets a trophy. And that's just not reality. You're gonna have people that lose.
And yeah, and look, if you ask women, that's not the type of men that they want. But then you have society pressing it out here, but it's that look, nobody, not one, no woman in any racial group wants a man that they can essentially move around like a puppet. That they gravitate to men who tell them no, who don't do what they tell them to do. There was a interview with Barbara Walters and Sean Connery, and he stood.
He said
on
he
it.
smacked her.
Exactly. He said, "Yeah, I'm gonna smack in the mouth." Yeah, and he said, "Look, there's nothing wrong with me wanting to play golf with men," and that's another aspect of it. All these men's organizations, men's only clubs and things like that, women force their way into these groups to where now we have to watch our mouth. Now we can't really show that we're attracted to a woman. We can't do anything that is manly because it's viewed as being toxic, and all of this other stuff is being forced out there. Look, they are more respectful to people who are transgendered and all this other stuff than they are to a man just being who he is naturally and who he was born to be, and it's unacceptable. That's one of the main reasons why the manosphere is here, is because this is where we're going to be men, and we're going to teach men how to be men.
You know what's crazy too? Over in China, they ban feminine images. Men being in feminine images over there. They said, no, none of that metrosexual, none of that. You can do that over there, but not here. Because if you can take out the men and make them feminine, then the rest is easy. I could take over your land. Because the men want to be women, popping Bucci.
Look, this is a part of, like, there's an experiment called Universe 25, and I'm gonna do a show on it, but I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna let y'all know about it. But anyway, in this Universe 25 experiment, they used rats, and they showed how basically once societies get into an abundance mode, everything is in abundance, then the male rats will stop reproducing, they'll stop trying to mate, and eventually they'll just stop eating. And they did this experiment over and over and over. It was a sociologist that did the experiment, and each time it was a predictor of social collapse. And we are in that right now. We're starting to see these male rats acting like female rats, all that kind of stuff. We're starting to see that very thing right now. We're so comfortable that the things that actually truly matter, shelter, food, raising children, all that. Now we're getting to the point where people think having children is a chore, something that can be avoided. But that is the difference between extinction of your species and not. But we got people who are actually out here going against nature. And it's because people are too comfortable.
Let me get to Japrice. I know Japrice had her hand up.
I
My
got a
bad, Japrice.
question.
Go ahead.
I want to ask E Black, how does he feel about giving little boys kitchen sets? And King and Mr. King, and also Mr. Rodney, if you would like to answer.
No, ma'am. I can't do it. No, ma'am.
That's the cold one because I have a daughter, right? And it's funny because she got like the little Peppa Pig kitchen set, right? And all the boys that come around, I ended up smacking all of them. Like, hey, y'all leave that stuff alone. But then, like, it's like I'm torn because I know they're just playing. And trust me, we got the little fruits in there. We got the little cut up fruits where you got the little knives and you can put them back together and stuff. And it's tough, man. So I'm gonna pass on this one because
no, that's a hard no for me. No, absolutely not.
This is how you do that, and this is how my mom did it.
It's tough.
They put me up, and my dad too. My dad made fried potatoes, like back in the country and stuff, and they're the bomb.
Yes, sir.
But, I was like, he put me on a stool and taught me how to do it on a real stove. Wasn't no play stoves and nothing like that. I love pancakes. My mom would make me get up there and make me learn how to cook pancakes. But there was no play associated with it. I had to do the real thing. So it was teaching me life skills, So there's a different way of doing it.
Yeah. Yeah,
and I absolutely agree with that, my brother, because that's one of the things my grandmother would say. That's one of the things she would say. She would say, "Okay, I need to teach you these skills, these real life skills, because later on in life you may not get married. So it's necessary that you know these things." But
absolutely,
as I'm concerned, that's a hard no for me. Also, that's a hard no.
That's too close to it. That's too close to an easy bake oven for me. I'm good.
But I don't think that teaching a boy, I'm not going to bring Adam in the kitchen and say, "Here, let me show you how to make this," because when you get older, it comes with maturity and comes with common sense. There's always recipes on packages and stuff. Now you can look things up, and I know we're two different ages, so I don't think now I will be. It wouldn't be an urge for me to just grab him and be like, "Hey, come in here," or I wouldn't do it because I have a younger brother. My mom didn't do that. We didn't have a kitchen set thing, and he lives on his own. And I mean, he eats in a hot pocket, and if you want to make an egg and a biscuit or something, he'll make it. I mean, I don't think it's needed, and I think it's just all in programming. And to comment on what you were saying, Mr. Rodney, about I think, were you referring to the Rat Utopia, where they did an experiment on rats? And
yeah, it's Universe 25.
Oh, that's what it's called. Oh, okay. Yeah, so I heard about. I think I mentioned it before, but if you guys have it, look it up. It's so interesting.
Is it not frightening? And it each time that they ran the experiment, I think they ran this experiment 25 times, and each time it led to social collapse.
To respond to D. Will, Gordon Ramsay is one guy. One guy. It's these I don't. So my aunt has a daycare, and she has a kitchen set in it. She had a whole daycare, and I go over there and visit my aunt, of course, and our son comes with us. And he'll be over there probably putting something in. It's just something to play with, but he's not the intention. The intention is I'm gonna go and I'm gonna make a cake for my fam. It's not that. And I feel as though that's what's being pushed, and it's by these mothers. And I'm quite sure most boys are not going up to their parents to say, "I want a kitchen set," because
Well,
unless they're
yeah.
watching unless they're watching their mothers, I just cannot see a young boy going up to his parents and saying that he wants a kitchen set for Christmas.
Right. And a lot of chefs, basically, and most of the male chefs, the great ones, I mean, they learned after they, pretty much got into their jobs and started working as cooks in kitchens and whatnot. And they developed an affinity for it. But by that time, you already have your social identity already mapped out. But
Thank you.
before a
Thank you.
child, I mean, look, we already know about the developmental cycles because we're all nurses. We know the developmental cycle of children and what they have to go through at certain levels so that they have their identity intact. So this is not new. This is science. But a lot of the lay people out here don't understand it, and they expose children to things that they're not ready for, and it tends to draw them off in unnecessary directions.
That's a fact. Let me get my man's Chaotic Truth up here. Chaotic Truth, what's the deal, sir?
What's going on, man? Just stopping by. Wanted to say salute to the panel. I just happened to, how you doing? Get a notification. I subscribed to you, so I'm over here.
Appreciate it.
I saw your
Appreciate it.
title, but you guys are obviously talking about something different. But I'm a rock with it. What's up, E Black? How you doing, sir?
What's up, my guy?
I'm chilling, man. Just chilling.
Well, right now we just talking about manhood. Yeah, you probably saw the title. We was talking about Juicy, and then we was talking about fraud and phony, and
Okay.
for a second. But now we talking about manhood. Well, let me start by asking you this first, sir. Would you get your son a kitchen set? Because that was a question that Mr. Priest had posed. Would you get your son a kitchen set? Is it a big deal to you?
Well, here goes the thing. I just got married a few months ago, and I don't have any
Congratulations.
children. Yeah,
Congratulations.
I'm pushing 40, but I don't have any children. But I did grow up in a nuclear family, and my parents are still together to this day. And my dad is pushing 90, and my mom is pushing 70. And I have very old school parents, and they're immigrants too. They're Nigerian, but they're old school in the sense of I could, I view myself as African American, and my parents they came off as African American too. But anyway, nevertheless, though, um, no, my mom and dad were both in the medical field, and my dad also knew plumbing, electrical work, carpentry, roofing, etc. And those were the things that were taught to me as a kid growing up, and those are very masculine traits. Not to say that cooking and being domestic are not masculine traits as well, but those traits are generally relegated to women. So the idea of buying your son a kitchen set, it's in my opinion, they're setting a initial bad example, because the at least the benchmark should be, here, pick up this hammer and hand it to me. As a kid, as a boy, pick up this hammer and give it to me. If he's 5 or 6, get him accustomed to those things first. You know, um, you know, I think initially buying a kitchen set, you're almost like you're introducing him into femininity. But not to
That's
say
a
there's nothing
whole
wrong with it.
fact.
Yeah, not to say
That's a
thank you.
whole fact.
Thank you. Not to say
Right.
that there's, yeah, I'm surprised I'm not getting kicked off the panel yet. I get kicked off everywhere I go,
No,
man.
sir. No, sir. No, sir.
Okay.
No, man, it's open. It's
Yeah.
open thought here. We can
Yeah.
disagree respectfully and
Yeah.
everything like that, but I don't. Only way I kick people off is if they being rude. I've never had to do
Yeah.
that before, so yeah, we can talk. But no, I 100% agree, 110% agree. Let me ask you, Chaotic Truth, do you think there is an attack on masculinity in today's modern era?
To be completely honest with you, high value nurse, absolutely. I mean, think about it. If you were the rulership class, would you really want a whole bunch of men who were empowered? I mean, really sit back and think about it. I know you may. I'm not asking you per se, but think about it. If you were a leader of a country, if you were, I don't know, a leader of a Fortune 500, would you really want a whole bunch of men thinking like you? You know, men at certain levels, they want to maintain their power. So of course, if at the highest levels, hey, if my buddy is a head of this media company, hey, how about I give you a few hundred million to make these silly ass sitcoms and movies with men acting like women? Because I don't want these people to subconsciously get empowered by men who are in important roles, or men. You ever notice, like, you notice, like, I don't know how old you guys are. I'm a little bit older than most of you guys.
I'm 30.
Oh, okay. I'm 37. But
Mm.
did you notice in the 90s, like, you started seeing like little stupid shit, like, it started off with like gay jokes, the little kiss. I mean, if anybody's homosexual in the chat, or please forgive me, but it starts off little, and then gradually you started seeing men in commercials taking care of children,
Oh yeah.
and so yeah, so they've been doing this whole demasculation has been going on for like 40-50 years, but it started off real small, like the little gay jokes, and
I
then the
remember the
little
cartoon Cow and Chicken.
cow and
Yep.
chicken. I never heard of that.
Cow and
Mhm.
Chicken was a cartoon when I was growing up that was on Cartoon Network. It had a lot
Yeah,
of homosexual undertones in it.
yeah,
Mhm.
And even as a kid, I picked that up, and it was just
yeah,
something about the show that was not right
yeah.
to me. So yeah, yeah.
What's coming else, though, high value nursing, and sorry for taking over the panel. I hate to overtalk everybody, but you know what
No,
else
you
is
good?
coming
Go
too?
ahead. What's up?
Bestiality. Hear me out.
That don't shock me.
Now, for 50, 60 years, you've seen like little silly shit in movies and TV shows and cartoons. I'll give you an example. When I was younger, I used to love watching Family Guy. But here goes a damn dog. He's sleeping around with these hot blondes. And I'm like, yo, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm talking about Brian.
Right.
This is
Yeah.
a damn dog. But they say, oh no, he's what do they say?
Anthropomorphic. Mhm.
Anthropomorphic animal. So he's really supposed to be a human, but in his dumb shit. I'm like, no, that's a fucking dog. Just like
Right.
Beauty and the Beast. When I was a little kid, I'm not gonna lie to you. I thought I like watching Beauty and the Beast. But when I got older, I'm like, wait a minute, whoa. That's a damn monster. That's an animal.
Mhm.
And
Yeah.
and eventually what's gonna happen is you're gonna start seeing commercials like, oh no, it's okay to kiss your I'm gonna call them wonderful people. They love kissing their dogs. I'm gonna call them wonderful people. They love kissing their dogs. You know what I mean by wonderful people?
Sound
And
like my dad.
yeah, you're gonna start seeing that. So yeah, the demasculation of man, and the introduction of obscene and things that are abomination, to a degree. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I mean, yeah, that's it's becoming a real sick world. Let me ask. I want to ask the panel. I'm gonna go around. I'm gonna start with. I'll start with Rodney, then I'll go to King Gene. Why do you think right now, Rodney? Because it
Mhm.
sounds like you at work, so I don't know if you got to go or not. If you don't,
No,
stick
no, I'm
around.
good. I'm good.
Okay. Why do you think that they are telling men, like, what is the problem with being so competitive? Because I see this all the time. I'm a real competitive person.
Yeah.
I'm a so like the concept of a graceful loser makes absolutely no
No
sense to me
sense. Right.
whatsoever. I am a sore loser. I don't like to lose.
Right.
Let me calm down. Now I can accept when I've lost, but I don't like to lose. In the moment, I don't want to shake your hand. You beat me. But I can come back and I can learn from my lesson and say, I respect the ass whooping I might have just received.
Mhm.
But the whole thing of a graceful winner, I've never understood that concept. Who wants to lose gracefully? No.
Yeah, I never experienced that coming up. Everybody was pissed off to get beat. We would play and play and play until we couldn't play anymore, whether it was basketball, football, whatever, until I won. So that's a part of of being a man, But now I think that's part of the feminization effort is to, it's the everybody gets a trophy, everybody's a winner. All of these graduations at every level, that was all women stuff, man. No man started that. Yeah, for you to, oh, I've got a graduation in kindergarten and I've got a graduation in, and up to junior high and high school. And, that's all crazy because it gives this false sense of achievement for things that you're supposed to get past. You're only supposed to have that on the big day, but, and you see it's almost degraded the importance of graduating high school and whatnot. You see this lack of competition in people is even got people saying, why should I go to college? Why should I do this? Why should I go to nursing school? This is good enough. You're starting to see that. And like I said, it's a part of people getting too comfortable to the point to where this right here is good enough,
Yeah. And like I said, man, like I don't know what happened because I feel like there's nothing wrong with a man wanting to be number one.
Right.
Why shouldn't any man want to be number one? Listen, I love King Gene, but I want to beat King Gene. You know what I'm saying? I want to be number one.
Right.
I love E Black. I love I'm not competing with Caprice, but I love all the dudes in the manosphere. You know what I'm saying? I love Kevin Samuels and watching his contact, but I want to beat Kevin Samuels. I don't have to disrespect him though to be in competition.
It's ownership of your own personal success is what it is. You can't be truly happy for the next person for making it. Yeah, you happy to an extent, but I want my stuff. I want my cake to rise. You know what I mean? If I'm cooking, I want my cake to rise. If my cake doesn't rise, I'm a failure.
I say that to my chick all the time. It is impossible for somebody to feel happy for you when they unhappy for themselves.
Exactly.
Go ahead, Chaotic Truth.
One thing I want to throw in there too is that you don't see competition being stomped out of women. Women are encouraged to compete with men.
Well,
and they literally doing it now with the transgenders in sports.
And they want them to beat us in everything. And that's I'm okay with competition wherever it comes, but that's the other aspect of this is are you going to get equality or equity? And you find that a lot of people who are disingenuous in the whole conversation want equity. They don't want to have to work as hard as I do to get the same result. They want to basically just be in line and get the same result that I get, even though I won the race. And that's not fair.
Go ahead, E Black.
Hey,
then we're gonna pass it to King Gene and Chaotic Truth and Caprice.
I'll just put this little point to that. I was looking at I read the book by Jordan Peterson, 12 Rules of Life, right? And he had a rule in there that said, don't look at somebody else's today. Or what was the rule? It was a good rule. It was a rule in which don't look at someone else's today. Focus on your today instead of looking at somebody else's yesterday. Basically, keep your eyes on your own prize. So I understand what you're saying in which you want to compete, you want to see your successes, and you're looking at other people and saying, hey, these are my measurements of who I am. But your happiness also dictates on your own ability to recognize how you are and who you are today. You've come from all the successes that you've had, CJ, are your successes. There's people that that are in your industry that have done it faster, quicker, and harder, right?
For sure.
So you can't look at them and say, you know what? They had this. So that breeds envy. So sometimes competition breeds envy when you're looking at somebody else's successes. So you got to understand, you got to put a balance in that. So I understand being competitive.
There you go, balance. You said the perfect word.
You have to be balanced in that, because what it does, if you're looking at somebody else, and for instance, I'm comparing myself to, say, Kevin Samuels, I got to understand Kevin Samuels' journey. I got to understand what the work he put in. Did I put the same amount of work in? Did I start where he started? Did I do what he did? So sometimes I get it, like, you want to be competitive, and we all are competitive. As men, we're naturally competitive, or some men.
Right.
Not all men are competitive, but the fact of the matter is that the key to happiness is truly understanding your success. Look at your yesterday. Look at what you've been through, and then use that as your measuring stick, rather than using somebody else's successes, because you don't know what they've done. You don't know, because it happens in a lot of different spaces, especially like actor. Who knows who's been doing what behind closed doors to get? Are you willing to go that far?
That's
Are
a
you
good
willing?
point.
Are you willing to go as far as to sell out your people? Are you willing to go that far and to give up your masculinity for fame and for success, to sell records or books or subscribers? Are you willing to go that far? Does it matter
Right.
that you're measuring up against somebody who's immorally immorally wrong, deficient? So sometimes we got to measure yourself against people who you value and you merit,
There you go. There you
rather
go.
than measuring yourself against people who you don't merit. Because if you don't merit these people, it doesn't matter how far they've gone in their successes.
Right.
Because as a man, I'm not willing to go these places. And it goes back to what we was talking about reaction channels, right?
Right.
And how we both kind of have this similar way of thinking, in which we say, you know what, that's not my lane.
Right.
But we know that, okay, we can drop a Kevin Samuels reaction video every week for the next month,
If we wanted to, right.
if we wanted to. But so that's what I'm saying. So sometimes in competition, you have to also understand, okay, who am I competing against? Am I competing against the people like who put out original content, or am I putting out people who bootleg content?
Well, that's the thing, E Black. I only compete with people I respect.
Thank you.
And that's you summed it up perfectly. It's that balance. I respect E Black. I respect King Gene. I respect what Chaotic Truth is doing. I respect Rodney. So therefore, I know by competing with y'all individuals, that's going to make me better as a competitor. It's all about elevating at the end of the day. I don't want to see you unsuccessful. I want you to be successful, but I want to be just as successful. And that, me having that thing to be number one. Okay, go ahead, King Gene. And then we're gonna pass it to Chaotic. Then let me let your priest up in there, because she been so patient.
And I agree with E Black, because especially when it comes to competition, and you're looking at other individuals and you're judging your work based off of them, it can create envy. But now
Mm-hmm.
the thing about it, I would say, is especially when you're looking at your own self-worth, like E Black said, if you compare who you are today to who you were a year ago, you'll absolutely, if you've been working hard, you'll absolutely be thankful. You'll absolutely have more self-worth because you're in a better space than you were a year ago,
That's a
or
fact.
a month ago, or a week ago, because you're trying to progress forward, right? But then I will also say this. I think that having a circle of friends, like you mentioned, CJ, a circle of friends that you trust and that you admire, it can push you. It can push you to do things that maybe you didn't think you were capable of doing. But because you are seeing all these other individuals around you that you trust and admire, you're seeing them reaching out and doing things that are spectacular. Then you're saying to yourself, okay, what gift do I have that will allow me to reach out and be just as spectacular as these guys are? And so I think that's what we're talking about, not necessarily looking at an individual and envying their success. We're looking at trying to cultivate within ourselves the gifts that we have so that we can excel. Every morning that I get up and I see a video from the High Value Nurse, I'm motivated. It's going to be a good day. My brother was on YouTube today. He had some things he had to say. They all made sense. They affected me to the point where now I'm going to get up, get this coffee. I'm going to get out here on this road and make something happen. That's the kind of reaction that I'm thinking that you all have in mind. So I agree totally. I really do. That circle of friends can make you do things, man, that you never thought you could.
That's a fact. Chaotic
And
Truth. Go ahead, Chaotic Truth. Then we're gonna pass it to Japriest, and we're gonna get the man, the myth, the legend, M3 up in the building. Go ahead, Chaotic Truth.
Yeah, I want to broach on what you were talking about. about this participation trophy generation you had mentioned, right? I used to teach in both public and private schools, and I taught primarily at the high school levels. This was years ago, and I taught for over a decade. I knew it was getting bad when you couldn't reward students who excelled, and I knew it was getting bad when in public schools, especially, the idea of giving out homework would get you fired and
What?
and reprimanded. Yeah, they don't really give out homework. I'm not gonna really name the school district I came from, but they don't give out.
Wow.
Yeah, you're not really supposed to give out homework. A lot of parents would complain. A lot of parents would get upset um, if the homework was too hard, which it wasn't, because a lot of it was just worksheets for real.
Chaotic
And
truth, not to cut you out, but that is heartbreaking to hear.
yeah, well, yeah,
That
and
is heartbreaking to hear.
mhm, yeah,
Wow.
yeah, and
Kata, can I ask you a question quickly?
you asked me 1,000 questions, man. Go ahead.
Okay, like here in my state, I'm in Arkansas. We had a problem at one point where a lot of the kids that were graduating from high school weren't even ready for college, and I didn't know if there was any statistic that you might know of as far as whether that's a larger problem nationwide as opposed to just state by state. But can you, if you could, give me a little bit on that?
I don't have any statistics in front of me right now, but what I do have is my experience being an educator. Um, when I started college, I'm a product of both private and public schools. And when I started college, the students, I went to a state college as well. And what I noticed is that a lot of kids who came from, especially inner city public schools, they could barely write a paragraph. And what it is that there's no standards in public schools. The teachers are afraid of the parents. The administration is afraid of the parents. It's just to me, public schools are nothing more than just a facility that babysits teenage kids. And there's no challenge in the schools. There's no competition. A lot of the parents, they don't challenge the students. A lot of the parents are TV watchers. So when the kids get home, they're not concerned with what the kids are doing. A lot of the kids come from single parent households, so there's no structure in the households. So therefore, when they go to college, they're not prepared at all. And a lot of and you see it all the time, especially in poor communities or African American communities, particularly. Um, and it a lot of times when they get into the schools in college, they have to take remedial courses just to get into the regular courses eventually. And even the regular courses aren't really competitive at the state level. And unfortunately, a lot of times, MBA, any like liberal art degree is you're pretty much setting yourself up for failure at the state level. Yeah, but not all the time. So I don't want to be too general, but not all the time. But yeah. So no, I don't have any stats, but I definitely I see the difference between a private school graduate and a public school graduate.
Mm.
And by the way, this is the darkest skin panel I've been on. Like everybody's like dark skin and beautiful. You go everywhere else, everybody's all mixed match, and it looks even right here. Not to get you a little, not to.
That's what's up. I thought I was light skinned, but I guess I'm dark today. No, I'm playing.
I'm skillet. I love it. I love the skillet.
When CJ go to the Bahamas, he dark skinned. He light skinned.
You go on other panels, it's all mixed match. You got high yellow people, dark people. Yeah, this is.
Japrice, thank you for being so patient. I appreciate it. Please give your take on everything. I don't have a particular question, but just give your question, or your take on what you've heard so far about competition. I do have a question. Competitive men, is that a thing for you? Do you like men who are competitive, or do you like men who are just, okay, I lost, maybe next time?
That's a good question.
No, absolutely. I think it is in a man's nature to be competitive. It's just in the nature. And if they aren't, somebody somewhere did that male a disservice. Yeah, so I do believe that men should be competitive. I think was that one of your shows from yesterday that saying that a man should always keep trying to elevate himself, always
Yeah.
trying to make himself better.
Yeah.
So yeah, I do believe that. I think. I hope this doesn't come off. I pray it doesn't come off wrong. So you're a nurse, and Mr. Rodney is a nurse. I remember you saying something about competing. How do you feel competing in a profession that is, if you don't mind me asking this question, if that's okay?
Go ahead.
In a field where it's like mostly women, do you feel the competitiveness in that field?
No,
I'm quite sure
I
that
don't. I don't personally, because I know I'll be looked at differently just being a male in that kind of industry, period. People are going to look to me to do certain things. People are going to, they welcome me more. They look for me more in a leadership position. Most of the times when it's females there, it can be catty. A lot of people say they don't like especially women. A lot of women say they prefer male nurses because they care better. So, I mean, I'm not saying that. That's what the patients say. But do I look at them as competition? No, absolutely not. It's not because they women. I just don't, because I know my role is different there than theirs. You know what I'm saying? But
right,
not no. Rodney?
because I believe that men should be nurses and not women.
Mm.
I believe that
Well,
all nurses should be men.
Why is that?
I have a list. This is actually not my list. This is my mentor's list, but I agree with everything that she said. And I pulled it up if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm just going to say some stuff briefly. Because of the lifting, women are not designed to lift the way that men can. Regardless of how much the woman weighs, it's easy. It's just easier for a man. A man is way much more stronger. The lengthy hours. You all know how women get very stressed, and now with this whole women are dying quicker than men nowadays because of the stress load on us, on the women, not on us. Well, us, the women, by choice. The PTSD, nurses witness some crazy stuff, and even though it's hard for a man to handle, I believe that it's handled better than a woman, even though PTSD is something very, very serious. And I believe, okay, what else? Many of the women are single or they're the head of their households, and most of their, I'm not going to say all. Well,
You trying to get me canceled by the nurse world. Lord Jesus.
No. Oh my God, I'm so sorry. I forgot.
No, go ahead. I'm messing with you.
This is just
I'm messing with you. Go ahead. Continue. I'm messing with you.
Most of them are head of households or they're single because of the lengthy work hours. What else did she say? She said the money trap. She says that I have met nurses who make $180K a year. The problem is a nursing degree only qualifies you to be a nurse. Where else can a single mother go to make this type of money? Where else in the workforce will your skills be relevant? Also, because if Black men need these jobs, and I'm not like pro-Black or anything, but like if some of the women just kind of take a step back and maybe like, let's just say stay home, there will be a lot of jobs for men. And the nursing field is so broad,
Well, here's the one thing that I'm gonna combat you with. It's a shortage. So any man who
the same thing.
No. It's been a shortage for the last 30 years. Right. So if any man wanted to be a nurse, there is absolutely nothing. And I do mean nothing, because even these hospitals are starting to hire felons now. There is nothing stopping him. They are paying. So that's the only thing that I'm a clash with you with. But ain't nothing stopping brothers from being nurses. at
So
all.
are you saying that there's opportunities to become an RN and they're pretty much paying for the RN school or RN?
100. I'm getting my RN for free right now.
Yeah.
Right
Really?
now, I have the receipts to prove it. It's called the Future for Frontliners. They're paying for
Future
my
for
education.
frontliners.
Yes, they're paying for my whole education. Yes. So it is nothing stopping brothers from becoming nurses. But go ahead,
Well,
please continue. Listen, I got to get to M3.
Okay. Just one more thing that I agree with. It's a few, but one more thing that I do also agree it is like female nurses are like more like cutthroat. And like where there's a large number of women, you already know like, you know, what goes on in that place. Like that's why
that's what I was going to ask
my
CJ too.
doctor is a male, and I appreciate him so much because he's not. I've had female doctors and female nurses, and even me going through prenatal. Sorry, it's my husband and my son. They're playing.
Oh, I thought that was a smash and grab.
Ding dong. With my prenatal care, my provider is a male, a man, and I get so much. I don't know. It's like more of like he's more understanding, or I don't really know how to explain it. But you know, like some of us women, we go through emotion. We may have a bad day, and we take it to work, or you know, just. But that's
Professional.
just, yeah. There it is.
There you go. And I agree with you. I'm starting to see a lot of EMS workers that are coming in. They'll have two little bitty women come in, and they're always coming to get all of the men to come and help to transport people. And it's like, you had to have lifted patience for you to get that job. You know what I mean? But you want me to come and do your job for you. And they will step back and let you do it, you know? And it's just, it's not fair. That's why I talk about equality and equity. You got a job, but you can't. It'd be like me being a firefighter and going out and saying, no, I don't want to lift that 200-pound man bag there. You know, I just want to take the test and get the job, you know, and that's kind of what's happening right now. And you're starting to see a lot of nurses too that they are very good as far as the grades, but as far as the actual work, not so much.
Let me get to M3 real quick. I gotta get to M3. M3 been waiting patiently. The man, the myth, the legend, M3 in the building. And ladies, to all my lady subscribers that are nurses, the words of Japrice is not necessarily the views of the TheCJKyles channel. I gotta at least get to 1,000 first. But go ahead, M3. What's up, bro?
Well, first and foremost, thank you for sending the link to me so I could join the live stream. You know, salutes to everybody on the panel.
And if y'all want to pull up, it's in the comments. I mean, I put it in the comments. My bad for cutting you off, but I put it in the comments. Y'all want to pull up? Go ahead.
You know, I do have a question for Japrice because her statement was very intriguing, right? As far as like, you know, nurse is supposed to be like a man's job. So now I want to ask you, Japrice, and that's why I had to write these notes down. What list of jobs do you think will be suitable for women, and what would be like the best job a woman can work for that can help her to stay and remain in her feminine by the time that she returns home to her husband? And then I have another question, but I'll start with that one first.
Oh, okay. Well, good evening. So I probably wouldn't be able to give any good advice because I advocate for women being home. But however, it should be something that makes you passive income, something to where it's not laborious, something to where it doesn't really take you. It doesn't really take you out. It doesn't take hours. It doesn't take you hours away from your family. It doesn't. Yeah, it doesn't. So pretty much something like passive income, like I know plenty of women in my church who sew clothes. They sew and they make dresses, and the dresses are maybe like $180. I have another. Man. Yeah, no, this is like they're like African clothing. So it's like an African cloth, and it's not cheap, and they're really good made dresses. She actually made my traditional gown, but Something passive, like a passive, like passive income. So another one in my church, she bakes. So and all the money they save. So, but I'm not really for sure.
I would. Well, that sounds more. It doesn't sound passive to me. Like unless if you have someone that is doing the labor for you and you provide the ideas. Like I have an example that could probably help. Um, I feel like daycare. Running like your own like daycare home if you're interested in doing something like that. I mean, a lot of women they really have the nurturing spirit when it comes to kids, and so if you can find someone that you can hire that can help run the daycare, you could just do as minimal as work as possible, and then just let the younger crowd or the younger generation take care of the kids and do most of the laboring, where it'd be like washing dishes, like changing diapers and such.
Hmm.
Maybe that's I mean that's one of the ideas that came like up to my head. So and that could be used as passive, which everything kind of starts off by putting some kind of work into it.
Mm. What about the second part? So, oh, was that the second question?
Now the second question I was going to ask was you know what? It's a woman mentor. Oh, because you mentioned something about like your mentor had provide like a list like for you. So is your and I'm assuming like your mentor is a woman, but if she's a woman, if so, if she's a woman who
I will hope
practices like
so. I will hope she ain't taking femininity advice from RuPaul.
is it, right, right. I mean, sometimes women they do kind of like tend to like get advice like from their other type of friends as well too. You know what I mean?
Nah, I
But
feel you. I feel you.
does your mentor practice the art of femininity, and that's how like you kind of adopt her to be your mentor, or how did that come about?
So my mentor is African. So
Okay.
they're a little bit different than, the Americans here in the Western world. So yes, she is like was born feminine, if that's the right way to say it. But yes, she does.
Or like raised in a feminine,
Race.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like cult, like she was
So
culturally.
culturally.
exactly.
Okay.
Exactly. So, and it was best for me to get I've been knowing her for like even before I met my husband. But it it was I was grateful of some of the things that she taught me before I met my husband with him being African too. So it worked out.
Oh, okay, okay. All right,
All right.
nice.
I also spent time some months in Ghana too and learned a lot of stuff too. So
Mm,
All right. Well,
okay.
ladies and gentlemen, I'm gonna let everybody. I'm gonna go around and let everybody say their last words. I mean, maybe for like the next 10 minutes, if y'all want to have a free for all or whatever, because it's almost 3 hours in and a player is sleepy. So, I'll start with chaotic truth. I know chaotic truth said you look like you had something to say.
I did. I have to. I got to really commend Japrice. It is so reassuring to hear a woman say what is divinely inspired from the universe. A woman should be at home with her children, taking care of the household. I don't know. I don't know how that has gotten disrupted. Thank you, Japrice. And I wouldn't mind it if you came on my panel, The Chaotic Truth Live, and we had a conversation about the nuclear home and the woman being a domestic individual and her primary job is taking care of the family. That is beautiful. That is divine. That's how it's supposed
Man,
to be.
you trying to get killed.
And so another thing too, I want to say this real quick about the nursing. I'm not a nurse, but I've worked in education and I also worked at a. It was one of my first jobs out of college. I worked for a mental health institution, and these children were kicked out of their home school, and they were sent to these different locations within this network of this larger institution. the females there, they would start all types of shit with the students. And sure enough, now we were trained to restrain the kids too. The female teachers would start all types of shit with these big ass 6 foot tall athletic kids. And sure enough, when these kids went crazy, do you know who had to step in and restrain the kids? The men did. I said, "Oh, I can't do this no more." And you're absolutely right. So if you guys experience that in the nursing field, it's also in the education field too, as well. But yeah, being at home with the kids is divine, and I think all women should embrace that. And I'm so glad I didn't get kicked off the panel because normally I do.
Get kicked off for what?
Hey man, I go to panels. They say get him out of here, get him the fuck up out of here. But anyway, it was great to be here. E Black, I'm gonna rap with you. Salute to you guys. I'm gonna get some sleep my damn self because I'm running off of fumes right now. I'm half asleep my damn self. And high value nurse, you have an email?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
CJKyles90@gmail.com.
Okay, I would love to do a collab with you on my platform as well. Yep.
Yeah, man. Hit me up.
And,
Hit
and
me up for
Japrice,
sure.
absolutely. And Japrice, you have a YouTube channel as well?
I don't. There's nothing on there.
Okay.
We finna get her one.
Okay. I'm a
I have one.
I'm finna start my own network. We finna get her one.
Well, Japrice, I would love to have you on my panel to talk about the nuclear home as well. Okay, so I'm gonna put my email in the private page, and you guys can do what you guys want to do with it. But thank you guys. Thank you for having me on the panel.
No problem. All right, E Black, go ahead, sir. Any last words, final thoughts?
If y'all didn't know, I'm E Black from E Black TV. I love having conversations with the brotherhood. It's always love getting together with a group of men, and we hashing things out. We may not always agree about the same things, but we all come from the same standpoint that we want to see better for our community. And the one thing that I always will say is that as long as brothers are building and looking forward to the future and owning their community, I'm always going to be there. In terms of the subject, first of all, Jussie is all cap. This guy is all cap, so don't be like this guy. And other than that, we talked about so much today in regards to the development of manhood and masculinity, and it was good to see the priest on here. We're gonna like he said, we're gonna get you some work out here.
Yeah, for sure. For sure. Because we ain't trying to force you, but the silent got to stop being silent, though. You dig what I'm saying? Because your kind are seen as pick-me's, and I made a video that said pick-me's get picked by the winners.
Well, they get the rings.
Duh. Like, don't that make sense? Like, I'm just like, why wouldn't a woman want to be picked by a winner? Oh, you're a pick me, and what? The sky is blue. Like I mean, but I can get off on a tangent.
Hey, nurse, you mind if I tell you a story real quick about the pick-me's? Well, about a channel that I went to where they was bashing about pick-me women.
Yeah, just don't mention the channel. I don't.
You already know me, man.
Yeah, don't mention the channel. But go ahead.
All right, so this was like a couple of months ago, but I was trying to support these sisters because they asked me like a question about why black men don't want to give black women a chance anymore, which I kind of disagree, but that's how they was feeling. So I gave I tried, to give my opinion to it, and every time I gave my opinion, it was pretty much combative. But the type of pick me girls came up, and it was reason why they don't like pick me girls because I guess there's supposed to be a sister code that pick me girls will break in order for them to pretty much win the hearts over for men. They also label them as slaves for men just to try to get their own personal gain. And so, I told them that, well, aren't you looking for a man? Your whole purpose is to try, you ask me these questions is because you hope that you could stay out of the single zone and be married one of these days. So part of being a pick me are girls that got chosen by men, picked up by men, and now they have rings on their fingers. So I would rather choose a pick me girl than to like, you know, find like a pass me girl anytime. So you have like those two options. Either be a pick me or just be a pass me around. So, that's all I gotta say about that. It just
I feel you, M3. I mean, I just feel like what type of man will want a woman that won't cater to him? If a woman is out here saying that I want to cater to a man, I want a man, I want to be with a man, I want to do what I got to do to be with a man. What man wants somebody that's combative just for the sake of being combative? Like I
exactly.
don't get that. But yeah, M3, go ahead and shout out your channel too while you at it, bro.
All right, thank you. Well, my name is M3 from Knowledge and Relationships on YouTube. You can go check me out, follow, subscribe. My IG is Oakland underscore artist 84. If you ever want to follow me on Instagram, we do produce like a lot of like good content. We try like to keep it fresh out of the oven, and we got like a lot of surprises along the way. Stay tuned for tomorrow at 12 p.m. Excuse me, at 12 noon for the Queen Dom show. Well, brunch time with the Queen Dom, and then following that, we have a live interview with E Black at 2 o'clock Pacific time. So check us out and definitely subscribe if you're new to the channel. And definitely get the likes up for High Value Nurse and make sure y'all keep showing him love as well.
Hey man, that was the man, the myth, the legend, M3. We appreciate you coming through.
Thank you.
Time to get to Mr. Rodney. Mr. Rodney, go ahead and shout out your channel, sir, and let the people know what you're doing over there.
All right. My channel is the Abuki Cabal channel, but it's just Abuki Cabal. Yeah, I cover a number of topics, nursing topics, COVID. I cover manosphere topics, red pill topics, history that's significant to our cause. And please like, share, and subscribe. I appreciate it.
Hey, Rodney, do me a favor. If you can put your email in a private chat,
Uh-huh.
or yeah, put your email or your phone number. I would love to connect with you too.
Oh yeah, you got my email already. You sent me.
Oh, I
Sent me
sure
one
do. I
already.
sure do. Okay, yeah, I sure
Uh-huh.
do got your email. So yeah,
I put my number in there though.
bet.
Mhm.
All right, E Blizzy. Hold on, I gotta get the solo for this guy. He ain't gonna accept nothing less.
Yeah, wow, man. But yeah, man, I'm E Black of E Black TV. Come check out my last video about Brittany Cooper. She made a very inflammatory statement in regards to the traditional nuclear black family. I addressed it, and I hope you guys agree with that. I'm pretty sure you guys will agree. So,
Mm, that's what's up. E Black, what kind of camera you got? You looking all crispy over there. You looking like you on some 4K technology
man,
right now.
I use that Noxzema. That Neutrogena.
That Teach Hanley.
Yeah, yeah. No. We not sponsored yet. Yeah.
Yo, that's what's up. That's what's up. All right, and last but certainly not least, the icon, the king himself, Mr. King Jizzle Gene, aka Marcus.
Well, the name of the platform is the King Gene, and what we focus on the platform is masculinity and all its variations, and what we are pushing for, especially for the young brothers, is to see the value in accountability, discipline, and determination, and just to really make that a part of your personality. Those particular qualities will never fail you in any situation. And so, what we have coming up in the next few weeks is uh, a work that I'm very proud of. We're going to be taking a look at the Monahan report. We're going to go chapter by chapter, and we're going to see, just like what Mr. Rodney said, we're going to see how this particular document had an impact on the black community, and whether or not the forecasts that are found in the document came to fruition. So, if you want to learn more, you can find me. As we mentioned, the platform name is the King Gene, and it's the same on Facebook as well as Instagram. Thank you for having me, CJ. I appreciate you, brother.
That's what's up. I'm trying to get King Gene on a cruise, y'all. King Gene, all he do is work. He need a vacation or something. Hey, but before y'all go, I can't let y'all leave without hitting y'all with my joke of the day, y'all. I can't let y'all leave without that.
No.
Yes.
Oh, the good
So
old jokes.
without further ado, dogs can't operate MRI machines, but cats can. Thank you. That was the joke of the day, ladies and gentlemen. I definitely appreciate y'all being here today. I just told the joke. She said, "Let's hear the joke." I just told her. Do I gotta say it? Do I? Do,
No.
do I gotta say it again? I'll say it again. Just cause, for knowledge and relationships. Just cause they be repping. So I'm gonna say it again. Dogs can't operate MRI machines, but cats can. Cats can. Cats can. Cats can. You get it? All right. And that he throwing tomatoes. He throwing tomatoes. All right, ladies. All right, ladies and gentlemen. That was today's episode. I appreciate everybody turning in today. Shout out to everybody who came on the panel. E Black, Caprice, M3,
Appreciate you,
Rodney,
Caprice.
the King Gene, Chaotic Truth, everybody who pulled up on me. And until next time, ladies and gentlemen, be on the lookout tomorrow. I'll dropping another video. So until next time, bid you adieu. Peace.
See everybody.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Hey, King Gene, if you need those links, they're on my page.